Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. So, before we dive into today's episode, which is dissecting everything the Real Housewives of Orange County, breaking down Tamra Judge's lies, talking about Shannon, Gina, Heather, Jenn. We are breaking it all down and also talking about last night's episode, along with some other blind items that I came across. So before we do that, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. If you're watching live, be sure to let me know where are you watching from, who are your favorites, are you enjoying this season? What do you want to see on the reunion? And any other tea or thoughts or comments that you have. If you're watching on the replay, go ahead and comment down below as well. So, with that, let's dive right on in. So, first, let's just do a review of the show and of the episode, and then I'll get into some specific stories that I really want to cover. So, first up, I really enjoyed the entire cast of last night's episode 16, season 15, episode 16. I enjoyed the entire cast, and I'm going to tell you why. Finally, everyone on the cast is not pretending to be up Tamra's butt, or other than Heather Dubrow. Unfortunately, she's still drinking Tamra's Kool-Aid and is just, being a little follower because I think she's in a really bad place. And I think she's so thirsty for validation and friendship from Tamra for some reason, which is bizarre to me. But other than Heather, everybody else kind of has woken up to how horrible Tamra is. And that was really refreshing. Everybody really found their voice. And also, no one came across as super insecure or jealous or needy, which are kind of the types of things that always made me sort of not like them, as in a Katie or a Gina or an Emily or a Jenn. So it was really refreshing that each woman sort of really stepped into their own. Okay. So when we talk about Tamra, Shannon, and Jenn, the whole thing about, did Tamra actually do a background check on Ryan, which is obviously yes. Shannon had the receipts. Actually, let's dive into some of the stories I have, because I think that will bring it all together more. Here it is. Here are some of the key differences and some of the key points that the producers completely missed in this episode that proves Tamra Judge is lying on Shannon when it comes to the rumors about Gina allegedly pushing Travis down the stairs, when it comes to the rumor about Tamra doing a background check on Ryan as well. So I'm going to break down why they're different and also how she got exposed as being a liar. And if I was the producer, I would have called her out on this. The first big difference is that Tamra brings it to the show. She's the one who brought it to the show that, Ryan was allegedly being investigated by the FBI. There was some alleged Ponzi scheme, a lawsuit, cheating allegations, all of that. She brings all of the dirt to the show versus Shannon, when Tamra's like, oh, well, Shannon wanted to get information on Gina, whether or not, she pushed Travis down the stairs and what's going on with the divorce. Shannon never brought any of that to the actual show. And if we're being honest, all of the housewives do that. They do recognizance. They ask bloggers and podcasters, what do you know about the housewives? They ask their lawyers. They're all doing background checks. They're all doing, digging dirt up on people. Maybe not a full background check like Tamra did, but they're all doing that. They all want information. They all want tea. They all want scoop. I mean, Katie literally was trying to get scoop on Heather. They all do it. The difference is when you actually bring it to the show, to the cameras, that crosses a line. 1 second, you guys, I need to cough. Sorry about that, was just running my mouth. And we're back. Okay. So when you actually bring it to the show, that crosses a line. That crosses a boundary into actually going after someone. And the only person who actually brings the information to the show is Tamra. She did the same thing when there was the rumor about, was the rumor about Kelly Dodd, I think it was? You guys correct me if I'm wrong. But remember a couple of seasons ago, before Tamra went on her pause, she brought up something about somebody ran a train on, and she was the one who brought it to the show, but Vicky was the one who got blamed for it. Tamra is really good at being the person to bring up things on the show, but then deflect it and have other people be blamed for it. Those are two totally separate different things. Also, again, with the Gina and the Travis, domestic violence allegations, Shannon never brought it to the show, not during the reunion or anything like that. Also, Tamra says, and again, this is why I'm like, are the producers watching the same show? Are they listening to what people are actually saying? Tamra said, let's move to this slide. Wait, hold on one second. So Tamra said that Shannon was lying about the fact that she was the one who brought the Gina allegation that she pushed Travis down the stairs to her, because it was like June of 2022 and they weren't talking and Tamra wasn't on the show or a part of the group. Well, that's a lie. That's a lie. Number one, just because Tamra wasn't on the show doesn't mean that they weren't speaking. Number two, during that time, they were all doing the Tres Amigas. So it was Vicky, Shannon, and Tamra all doing the Tres Amigas. The Tres Amigas didn't break up until like the late quarter of 2022. That's when the rumors started happening about, are they, breaking up? Is Tamara leaving Tres Amigas? So clearly you were talking to Shannon because you were all in Tres Amigas. Just because you weren't on the show doesn't mean you stopped all communication with Shannon. So that was a lie. Also, how did you know that Shannon knew about the allegations against Gina and Travis? How did you know that Shannon was reaching out to lawyers and Taylor's husband and all of that, unless you were talking to her about it? So the fact that you even know about it means you talked to her about it. So your whole excuse saying it wasn't me, I didn't bring it, we weren't talking, like literally doesn't make any sense. Also, let's think about the timelines. Okay. So we're talking about 2 years ago. She said that her and Shannon weren't talking. 2 years ago is the same exact timeline of when Tamra did the background check on Ryan. 2 years ago was the same timeline, 2022, when the allegations came out about Gina pushing Ryan down the stairs. So you can't have it both ways, Tamra. You can't say, yeah, I was talking to Shannon about doing background checks on Ryan. It was all Shannon's idea. But in the same breath, be like, oh, but during that time, we weren't talking. Does not make any sense. Shannon and Tamra to be perfectly honest, they never stopped talking. They were always talking. There was a beef when Tamra left Tres Amigas, but that was after all of this. That was within the last 2 years. We're only now seeing the beef between Tamra and Shannon on the show, because once the cameras came back up, that's when Tamra flipped on Shannon. So if they weren't talking, why was Shannon so hurt that you flipped on her? So the lies aren't making any sense. And the reason why I bring up the producers is because in the scene, they bring up like a screenshot of the Page 6 article talking about Gina allegedly pushing Travis down the stairs, and it says June 2022 on it. Like that was co-signing what Tamra said. But the first thing I thought was, but they were doing Tres Amigas then. So that doesn't make any sense. And also 2 years ago was the same exact timeline that they were talking about doing a background check on Ryan. So you can't tell me you're in cahoots with her doing background checks on Ryan, but you weren't speaking to her during the same exact time frame about Gina and Travis. That doesn't make any sense. And you were doing Tres Amigas. So you were talking to Shannon and you guys were in contact. So you're lying. Like if I was in the producer, I would be like, but weren't you doing Tres Amigas then? So weren't you guys friends? Well, if you and Shannon weren't talking during that time, then how did you know she wanted to look into it? How did you know she wanted to call the lawyer if you guys weren't talking? So it doesn't make any sense. But, I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you think that the producers dropped the ball by not checking timelines, by not asking the right questions, by not knowing basic information about the castmates that clearly and easily prove Tamra was completely lying about the whole thing? As if we needed proof, we got it. We got it. Okay. Now, I want to talk about 7 signs that Tamra and Eddie are headed for a divorce. And then I'll get into talking about the episode and everything. The first sign is that there was a new blind item about it. Now, as we know, blind items, they're not always true, but more often than not, where there's smoke, there is fire. So let's watch the blind item, and then I'll go through more of my reasons of why I think Tamra and Eddie are going to head to a divorce.
Bravo Snarkside just posted a blind item about the Real Housewives of Orange County, and I want to see if we can guess who it's about together. The blind item reads, the South of LA housewife who never met a procedure she didn't like or a cause that she could use to make her a victim is headed for a split with her husband. And if I had to guess, I think it's Tammy Sue and Eddie. I mean, does that not look like the face of an exhausted man? Who would you guys guess it's about?
So yeah, word on the curb is they're heading for a divorce. And I kind of agree with the blind item. I definitely think it's Tamra that's headed to divorce. But let's think about a couple of other reasons why. Number 2 is they're failed businesses. And are they secretly broke? Because as we know, a lot of these housewives front like they have all this money, but they actually really don't. Cut Fitness, as we know, shut its doors, I believe, end of 2023. And any type of brick and mortar business, it can be really difficult to make a profit even when you are in business. It's hard to turn that profit. Sometimes it takes a few years to get out of the red. And I don't know how long it had actually even been open. So who knows if it was even actually making money at that time. So failed businesses, and I'm not really sure what Tamra and Eddie really do. I mean, they say they have CBD lines, new ventures, but I don't know how much money, like legit money, that brings in. So finances are always a huge reasons why people break up. And if they no longer have their joint businesses, then what's really keeping them together if it's not actual love, which it doesn't really seem to be. Number 3, a huge red flag, which happens a lot with couples, they're living separate lives. Eddie is living in their home in Big Bear while Tamra is living in their home in the OC. I always think it's a little questionable, a little shady when one of the partners gets their own sort of pad or their own digs and they spend the majority of their time in a secondary home. That's basically, to me, sort of maybe like a trial separation where the husband lives in one house, the wife lives in another. I don't know. To me, that's a big red flag. I get couples who retire together in a second home, but it's always weird when one primarily lives in one house and the other one lives in the other house, right? Number 4 is Tamara's violent and aggressive behavior when she drinks and she's outright embarrassing him. Like we see it all the time, but just to highlight a key example is when they went to dinner at Katie's house. Like Tamara acted like a damn fool. She was wasted. She was mean. She was aggressive. She was embarrassing him. He looked mortified. He looked embarrassed. He kept trying to calm her down, telling her to stop, and she wouldn't stop. She just kept going and going. And did you notice? I don't know if he drank or not, but he definitely kept declining drinks. So it was clear that he was sort of like in babysitter mode, and like that's never fun. You're going out with your boyfriend or your husband or your wife or your girlfriend. You don't want to be a babysitter. You want to be able to be in social settings and relax and have fun with each other. You don't want to have to be like the sober person looking out for like your wasted partner. That's never fun. He looked completely checked out and just, irritated and kind of disgusted with her, to the point where, did you guys see how he actually went to Katie's husband and was like, you need to cut my wife off. She's already like drunk. like give her shots of water, like don't give her real alcohol. And Katie's husband was like, okay, because he only ever talked like 3 times. But that's really embarrassing. Like if you have to like tell other people to cut your partner off, like these people are in their 50s and 60s, right? Like who wants to be saying cut my partner off when this woman's like in her 50s? It's crazy. And it's also very hypocritical how much smoke Tamra gives Shannon for her drinking and what happened with Shannon with her DUI, which of course we don't condone, but Shannon has taken accountability for what she did. She's not trying to get out of it. She's like, I did it, I screwed up, and these are the consequences, and I'm, making changes. Whereas Tamra acts like she doesn't have a problem and that she doesn't have, she sort of has a moral high ground when she really doesn't. To be honest with you, I think Shannon had a bad night, overdrank, and made a really piss poor decision that's extremely regrettable. And like, thank by the grace of God, no one got seriously hurt. However, I think overall, Tamra is a much more dangerous drunk than Shannon is. Shannon doesn't get drunk and verbally attack people and eviscerate people and mentally and emotionally abuse people and yell at people and try and tear people down when she's drunk. She just gets drunk, a little bit cryy, and like that's it, or like a whoop it up time and like has fun, you know? Yes, she made a very regrettable mistake, but overall, I think Tamra is much more of a liability and is much more of a reckless and dangerous drunk than Shannon is. When you look at the totality of the situation, it's absolutely ridiculous. Um, Number 5, and I want to be sensitive about this. Again, if you're a new Candy Cane, we do talk about sexuality on our channel. We talk about identity. So if we talk about that, it's from a place of love, not out of a place of trying to like, I don't think being gay is wrong. So if we talk about sexuality, I'm not saying it as a way to be derogatory towards anybody. So number 5 is the, allegations that have been out there about Eddie's sexuality. If they are true, and I'm not saying they are, I have no proof, and it's quite frankly none of my business, but since they are public figures and these rumors are out there in the public domain and I'm not making it up myself, maybe he's ready to, live his life or live his truth. If that is the case, I'm not putting that on him. Hypothetically speaking, I'm saying maybe that's something he would want to explore, because there has been rumors about that, and also infidelity, so if there's rumors about a partner's sexuality or infidelity, people get to a certain age in life and they're just done not being their full selves. So maybe there's something in that happens at, I don't know, like middle upper age, where you're just done and you just want to do you full out. Number 6 is rumors of Tamra getting fired from the show. So again, if it's not a marriage that's based on like true, authentic love, once the money dries up, once the opportunities dry up, once the free promotion dries up, there's really no more incentive to stay. All the kids are grown. Not that they had kids, but she had kids. So there's no more kids in the house except for her daughter, but her daughter's like 18 now. So it's almost like that empty nest syndrome, where it's like the businesses are over, the kids are out the house, uh, she might be fired from the show. Why would he stay? He's living in Big Bear, you know? All signs are pointing to a potential split here. And then also the backlash from her being saying that she was on the spectrum. That's embarrassing. What man wants to be with a woman who is out here, lying about her mental diagnoses? That's crazy and embarrassing and bad for whatever business they're claiming to be in. I don't really know what they do, but whatever they do, it has to be bad for business. Even if you are a shady business person, you still want to have a public facing good reputation, because I don't know if all their businesses are up to snuff. I'm not saying they're not. Don't come after me. Don't sue me. Don't send me a cease and desist. I'm not saying you are. I'm saying even if you are doing some shady business stuff, you want your public persona to be reputable. Because if it's not, then you can't run your shady businesses. You can't do your fraud because no one's going to want to work with you anyway. You know what I mean? So there's that. You know what I'm saying? So those are kind of the 7 signs that I thought about of why I think Tamra and Eddie are headed for a big divorce. But as always, I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below and be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, let's move on. Oh yeah, and then there was also like a Reddit post about it. I forgot about that. But now let's get into the nitty-gritty of recapping the episode and the show. Okay. So I have to say, and to my own surprise, I really enjoyed last night's episode. I said it earlier in the video, but I'll say it again. I feel like in this episode, all of the women, except for Heather, unfortunately, because she's still up Tamra's butt, but all of the women really came into their own. There was no insecurity. There was no jealousy. There was no just drinking people. It feels like everybody's mask just and walls just sort of fell down. What I mean by that is I actually really started to like Katie because the entire season I thought Katie was really flat and really boring. Now, where Katie goes wrong is her obsession with Heather Dubrow. Like, Katie, you got to let the stuff go. Heather pays you dust. You came on the show super hot, going after Heather when Heather doesn't even know your name or who you are. Why are you this pressed to go after Heather? Other than that, this episode, I liked her. I liked her alliance with Jenn. That was a vibe. And I liked Katie, Jenn, Shannon, and Gina. I thought the 4 of them were super, super fun together. And I don't usually enjoy Katie, and I don't usually enjoy Gina. But this episode, I actually enjoyed Gina. Again, because I think they were just really being themselves. It wasn't over the top. It wasn't overly produced. It wasn't overly making up things because of their own insecurities. You know, they had Heather's back, which Gina and Emily usually don't. They usually take any moment to throw Heather under the bus because they're so intimidated by her and her money. But they didn't do that. So that was super refreshing. I love that Gina stuck up for Shannon against Tamra. That was super refreshing. It was like a united front. And I loved how Jenn said, which I said the other episode, why does Shannon keep leaving her own, birthday party trip? If anybody should leave, it should be Tamra. She's the one should get up off the table and like head back to the States. And I love how Jenn said that. I love how Jenn found her voice. I really enjoyed her. That scene was so powerful when she walked in and was like, I know what you did in the background check and you don't have a soul and blah, 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 blah. And like, we're not good. And she just like gave it to her because that's what happened when you give a narcissist something that they don't expect. Again, I'm not a doctor. I don't diagnose. But in my opinion, I think Tamra has a lot of similarities to a narcissistic personality disorder. But when you give them something that they don't expect, like Tamra thought that Jenn was going to fold, that she was going to cower, that she was going to, shut up and take it the way she has been for the last year and a half. But when she spoke up and when she pushed back and when she did not cave on multiple occasions at the dinner, she kept going for Tamra's neck. At the brunch, she kept going for Tamra's neck. Like she did not let up. Tamra was shook. Because that's what happens to narcissists and bullies. When you stand up to a bully, they cower and they quiver and they run away because at the end of the day, bullies are just cowards. And when you speak truth to that, light to that, and you push back, they have no choice but to fall back. So that was a very powerful moment. I loved that. Now, when we talk about the Katie, Emily, Heather of it all. So of course, Tamra was the one to bring to the show because like I said before, she's the one who brings all of the mess to the actual show and cameras. That allegedly Emily's 2 boys had said to Kylie, who is Katie's 19-year-old daughter, oh, mommy and daddy or mommy doesn't like Heather because Heather yells at mommy and she's really bossy or whatever. Okay, let me tell you what I think really happened. And I want to know what you guys think as well. But before I do that, just to preface the conversation, I think bringing in 8-year-old children into any adult conversation, particularly on camera, is trash. And how giddy and excited Katie was, and her daughter to me was weird, like weird as hell, because she was all excited too. Like, Kylie, like, why are you mad at Heather? Like, I'm confused. Like, I don't get the Katie Heather thing. Like, I don't know why she hates her so much. It's really bizarre to me. And I don't know why your 19-year-old daughter hates her too. Like, this is also really kind of psycho when you don't even know the woman. But they were too giddy to tell that story. And also, no matter how you slice it, whether Emily's sons actually said that, which I actually don't think they did. I believe Emily. I don't think her boys would care or say that. But even if they did, the problem is that Kylie, who is a 19-year-old woman, teenager, whatever you want to call it, she's 19 years old, but she's in charge of these children, would bring up two children. What do you think about your mommy's or your mother's, whatever she said, friends who are adults is highly inappropriate, kind of like just weird, doesn't make any sense, and is kind of not I'm not going to say grooming because that's a way too strong of a word with way too many different connotations, but planting almost. Because I would never go to an 8-year-old for like the tea or for gossip or for intel or for dirt on adults that my parents are hanging out with. If I'm 19 years old and babysitting, I'm like shopping online, I'm hanging out with the kids, I'm inviting my boyfriend over, we're going to order some pizza, we're hanging out by the pool. We are talking about TikTok. We are literally talking and doing everything else but quizzing 8-year-old boys about what their parents talk about other adults. So no matter how you slice it, Kylie is weird as hell and is wrong for that, and I blame Katie. Because number one, Katie, clearly you've been talking about Heather to your 19-year-old daughter, which is okay because, she's 19, she is on the show, and all of the mothers, vent to their children about what's going on the show when the children, ideally are appropriate ages, not always, but ideally, right? So no matter how you slice it, that's weird as hell. What I think happened is I do think Kylie was asking the boys about it. The boys probably were like, "What are you talking about? Can we go play like video games or basketball or something?" And she probably was just like, "Yeah, like my mom thinks Heather is this." And the boys are probably like, "Oh, yeah, whatever." Like 8-year-old boys are not going to sit around with Kylie and be like, "Yeah, girl, what's the tea?" Like, what? Psycho, weird as hell. And like Kylie was like too excited and Katie was like too giddy. Any way you slice it, it was wrong and it was weird and just really freaking gross. And Katie, my note to you is this: I actually liked you a lot this episode. You seem to have a personality. You had a good point of view. I love the vibe that you had with Gina and Shannon and Jenn, but let the Heather thing go. It's a fight you're not going to win. And I'm confused as to why you're even in the battle. Like, Heather doesn't even know who you are. Like, you're literally fighting with yourself. Like, girl, stop. That's kind of where I landed there. Now, let's talk about. Okay, let's talk about Shannon. All right, Shannon. Love her. Love, love, love. I really don't have any notes for Shannon. I feel like Shannon's having a great season because she's being very vulnerable. She's being very honest and she's just really putting it all out there. And I love that she stood up to Tamra and it's like, I am not taking this. However, she has to stop leaving. Like, you don't leave. You kick them out. Stop leaving. Like, that's my only note. Like, stop leaving. When it comes to, do I think that she was trying to create a narrative when she went to Heather about and showing her like the bloody photo and the picture and the timeline of the accident in Jansen? Yeah, but also, duh, that's what they all do. Heather, you staged an entire Disneyland paparazzi photo op. Isn't that trying to control a narrative? When there was a rumor that your husband was cheating on you, isn't that trying to control a narrative? Like, that's what you all do. Like, you guys sit around and you say, let's talk about this, let's talk about that, let's bring this up, blah, 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 blah. Like, literally, that's what you guys all do. Like, Heather, wake up. The only, and this was also the thing, you could tell that everything Heather was saying was everything that Tamra told her. Like, well, I had already told Tamra, so I didn't think it was a big deal. And Tamra told me, and Tamra said, like, Heather, I want to like shake Heather and be like, what happened? Like, why are you so far up Tamra's butt that you like can't see what is in your face? And then when they did the flashback to like when Shannon and Heather were beefing when Shannon first came on the show about, David cheating and emails and all that stuff, it was so obvious that Tamra was at the root of that too, because Tamra was the one who went back to Shannon and said, Heather's talking about you. Tamra was the one who went to Heather and said, oh, Shannon has a lot of problems in her marriage. She's drinking a lot and all this stuff. So Tamra was feeding stuff to Shannon about Heather and then feeding stuff to Heather about Shannon. And that's why they never became close. And it's happening again. Like, Heather, wake up. Tamra is not your friend. She does not like you. Hello. At all. Like, it's insane. Absolutely insane. That's kind of where I land on there. Let's talk about Emily. Again, I enjoyed Emily this episode. I don't know what Kool-Aid I'm drinking, but I enjoyed Emily, and I don't usually enjoy her, but I did. The only thing I did not enjoy about Emily is the loud, obnoxious, I have to poop and where's the bathroom? Blah, blah. Like, I'm over that shtick of like the burping and the pooping and the farting and the being gross and bleh. Like, I'm over that shtick. Like, I don't think it's cute. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's relatable. I don't think it's a moment. I'm just over it. I just think it's kind of gross. Versus when Shannon had to have the is it an enema? Is that what it's called? I actually thought that was like really quirky and funny. And I thought that was relatable and fun. And I loved how all the girls were like, helping her out and like listening to her poop. But like that to me was like actually like funny and like a moment. Whereas with Emily, just bull in a china shop all the time, like no spatial awareness at all. But other than that, I actually did enjoy her. And I will tell you again, a reason why I enjoyed her, because she was being vulnerable and open when she was talking about the whole, Katie and her sons and Heather, situation. And she didn't get defensive and she didn't throw it back on how somehow it's like Heather's fault or, the way they usually do when it's like not even Heather's fault, but like with the jeans and the fashion show, just because you're feeling insecure about money or you're feeling insecure about your weight or anything that you sort of envy or are jealous of Heather about, you make it about, like with Gina, she's so jealous of Heather and her money and her real estate and all of that. So anytime Heather breathes, she's like, why are you looking down on me? Why can't you let me be human? I don't know how to be a friend to you. And it's just like, no, Gina, you're just triggered around money issues. And so when you see Heather, you're triggered. That's not Heather's fault. Like with the fashion show with the jeans, it's like, no, Gina, you're triggered about your own identity with your weight. And you see Heather, who is really thin, and it's a fashion show, and you're blaming that on Heather, and Heather had nothing to do with it. But that did not happen this episode. And that's why it was so light and so refreshing, because the women were able to have tough conversations, but without the defensiveness, without the projection, without the blaming that makes it heavy in a different way. And that makes it dark in a different way. And that makes it not enjoyable to watch. So I actually enjoyed Emily this season or episode. I enjoyed Katie. I enjoyed Gina, which is surprising. I thought they were all a vibe. And they were all sort of like on the same page, which was also really cool. What else? Who else is there? So we talked about, okay, Tamra. Oh God, Tamra. I do think that Tamra's going through stuff. I think her marriage is on the rocks. We gave the 7 signs of why I think they're headed for divorce. I think their finances maybe aren't as tight as she pretends they are. I think that she's just not in a good place. However, she's always been nasty and mean and vindictive and a liar and messy. That goes beyond being a villain to the point where she's a terror. And that's the thing. Those are two different things. You can be the villain of the show, but the problem is when you cross certain lines, you become a terror of the show. There's always good villains. We love a villain. You have to have a villain character because, even though it's a reality show, it's still storytelling. Any television show, anything like this, it's a story that you're telling. That's why they're called storylines. It's a story. That's why people are saying, oh, you're trying to create a narrative because it's a story. And like all stories, you need particular archetypes. And one of those is a villain. But there's a difference between a villain and a terror. Lisa Rinna, a terror. Erica Jane, a villain. I mean, even though with the fraud stuff, but I would say Erica Jane is a villain, but Lisa Rinna was a terror. Even with the OC right now, I would kind of say Heather Dubrow is kind of a villain. Tamra Judge, a terror, you know? So when you cross those lines, and like, for example, Real Housewives in New York, there's no terror on that show, but there's a villain. Her name is Brynn. So there is a difference, And I think that with Tamra, I'm like her. I lack empathy because I can't have empathy for this woman because she deliberately causes havoc. And you see on her face that she enjoys it. She enjoys it. It's crazy. It's crazy. So let's see. Who else? What else? We talked about Tamra, who's a hot mess. We talked about Shannon. We talked about Jenn. I love that Jenn is finding her voice. With that being said, one thing about two things. Okay. Or one thing, or two things about one thing. Two things about one thing. Okay, so the one thing is I'm happy Jenn is with Ryan. That's the one thing. But the two things about it is this. The first is I agree with Emily that I actually like Ryan and I respect him for stepping up and taking care of her children that are not his. Unfortunately, and people shouldn't get a medal for taking care of their own children. So I'm not giving medals out for what people just should naturally do. But unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there, men and women included, who abandon their children and don't even take care of their own biological kids, which is dead wrong. Taking care of your children should be inherent. But to be someone who chooses to take care of somebody else's children because they're with their mother, that's huge and that's great and that's super, super respectable. But even that, you don't get too many points because you should take care of somebody's kids if you want to be with them. So that's one thing. However, the second thing, the lawsuits, the fraud, that is scary to me because is he putting your name on things? Is he having you signing stuff? Are you being implicated in anything? Even if you're not, what happens if he does get busted? What if these allegations are true? What happens then? When you're with a man and you're living in his home with your children, she's making money. She's making at least six figures on the show because that came out in the court document. So she's definitely making in the six figures on the show. But when you also bake in, do you have any debt that will need to be paid off with those six figures? Is that enough for a lifestyle in the OC? What are you spending your money on with the six figures? So just because you have money coming in doesn't mean that you have actually that money to play with, if you know what I mean. So my worry with that is, yes, Ryan seems like a great guy. He loves her. They're engaged. He's taking care of her kids, having them moved in with his house when she had no other place to go. But on the flip side, if these allegations are true, what happens if he gets busted? What happens if you're implicated in some of those schemes and scams? Because a lot of good people go down because they are in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people. Whether or not you even did anything, You could be catching strays because of the company that you keep. So that's also very concerning. So I'm happy for Jenn that she's finding her voice. She's stepping into it. She's with Ryan. They love each other. She has a place for her children. She's now getting income from the show. But I'm also worried about that component of it as well, because what happens if this is true and what happens if he goes down? So there's a little bit of that, right? All I would say to Jenn is stack your money, as long as he's paying for the $2,000 dresses, get as many dresses as you can, keep the tags, get as many purses as you can, keep the tags, stack your little Bravo money as much as you can. So if a rainy day does come around, you're able to take care of yourself and your kids. If he wants to get the 2000 Dolce & Gabbana dress, girl, you better strut and knock it out. Heather Dubrow, I don't know why you're jealous. You just sold your house for $55 million and you're jealous that Jenn is wearing a $2,000 Dolce gown or whatever it was. Was it Dolce? It looked like Dolce. It looked like spring, summer. Anyway, so yeah, get what you can. Keep the tags, stack your money, and be able to live comfortably and be able to take care of your children, if push comes to shove. But overall, I like Ryan. Do I believe these allegations? Probably. Probably. But who knows? Who knows? Who knows? I'm not saying they're true. I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm not saying that's true or not. But you never know. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll do a deep dive on it. But we'll see. I just want her to be careful with everything. But I do like her. And this kind of gives me hope for the next season. I think that they should fire Tamra because I don't think it's healthy for the rest of the women or for the show itself. I loved this episode because they were all standing up to Tamra, not because Tamra was being messy, but because they were standing up to the mess is why I liked this episode so much. And I really liked I liked all of the women and I liked all of their dynamics. Heather to me though needs to get her head out of Tamra's butt. She needs to work on her own self-esteem. She seems very lonely to me. I want Heather to get some really, really good girlfriends, women who are not intimidated by her status, by her houses, by her money, women who are so secure in themselves. And again, I'm not saying that Gina or Emily or Tamra, are somehow not good enough or not worthy. I'm not saying because they don't have as much money. I'm not saying that by any means. I'm just saying that they have their own insecurities based on where they're at and how they feel about themselves. And that is what is not allowing them to really be a friend to Heather, because it's really hard to be a good friend to someone that every time you look at them, you are reminded of your own low self-esteem or your own insecurities. It has nothing to do with Heather. And it actually has nothing to do with money. And it has nothing to do with how you look. It's just how you feel about yourself. Heather needs some women around her. I don't know who her friends are off the show, but she needs some women around her to really support her. Because I don't care how much money Heather has, she looks really sad to me. She looks depressed. She looks very lonely. And she looks really sad. And I think she needs some good women around her. I don't think everything is roses with Terry. There might be some marital stuff going on there. I don't care how strong your marriage is. Once those cheating allegations are out there, they do take some type of shine off of you, some type of chink in the armor, whether they're true or not, unfortunately. That's why words matter. That's why you don't lie on people, because words are weapons. And whether it's true or not, it can have ramifications. Like my mom always tells me, the most dangerous person is a liar. So there's that when it comes to that. I don't know why Gina is still playing in Travis's face. I don't think Gina even likes Travis. I don't know why they're still together. I'm confused. You separated houses. I'm confused. I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway, but I also love how Gina did not take the bait when Tamra was like, oh, by the way, Shannon wanted to do a deep dive on, whether or not you push Travis down the stairs. I'm really happy she didn't take the bait and just go fully nuclear on Shannon and just drink the Tamra Kool-Aid. Again, that's why it was refreshing and fun. Oh, another thing I wanted to say. Another key difference when it comes to Tamra and Shannon with the whole Ryan background check situation. Tamra is such a weirdo and such a liar, and she tells on herself, but she's like not that smart. She thinks she's really doing something, but while she's trying to take Shannon down, she actually exposes that she's a liar. Did you catch that when she was talking to Heather, she was like, "Oh yeah, well Shannon knew about the whole Ryan thing, some lawsuit about timeshares in a different country and how they were like selling, they were collecting the HOA checks, but nothing was actually being built. And so there was like this big lawsuit. And Shannon was like, oh my gosh, Leslie Bedore's ex-husband is implicated in that. Can we get all the information?" The reason why that is so important is because that is why Shannon wanted Tamra and her private detective person, whoever the hell, to do a deeper dive into that case, was because Leslie Bedore is David Bedore's, her ex-husband, estranged wife now. I mean, at the time they're married, that woman has done restraining orders against David, DV cases against him. I don't know what's going on over there. That's just a hot mess over there. But she's Leslie Bedore now. She's Shannon's ex-husband's wife. She was the woman who was sleeping with Shannon's husband. She was the side chick. She was the mistress. They got divorced. He knocked her up and they got married. That was why Shannon was saying, I want more information on this. Shannon does not care about Jenn and Ryan. Not in a negative way, but in like a, why the hell would Shannon give 2 Fs about what's going on with Jenn and Ryan? Shannon doesn't care. Shannon barely talks to Jenn. I think they've said 3 words to each other the entire 2 years Jenn has been on the show. So why in the world would Shannon care about what is going on with Ryan? Now, does Shannon care about what's going on with Gina and Travis? 1,000%. But that's because Shannon and Gina were beefing. They had an on again, off again friendship. Gina would go after Shannon. Shannon would go after Gina. They have a long standing of on again, off again friends. And at that time, they were beefing. So does it make sense that Shannon is more interested and would want to be more involved in understanding about Gina and Travis to have the ammo for the reunion? Yes, that makes sense. However, again, the difference is Shannon never brought it to the show. Never brought it to the show, did not use it at the reunion. But Tamra brought it to the show. And again, when Tamra's like, no, it was Shannon who wanted to do the background check, why? Shannon has no incentive. Shannon only wanted the information because she wanted information about Leslie Bedore because her ex-husband was implicated in the lawsuit. She was being nosy about her ex-husband and his new wife, which makes perfect sense. That makes sense. That's why she wanted the information for her own business. Why would Shannon care about Jen and Ryan? Shannon and Jenn don't even talk to each other. Not that they have a beef, but they just don't interact. So why would Shannon care? Doesn't make sense. But of course, Tamra cares about Jenn and Ryan. She has been gunning from them since day one, acting like she's friends with Jenn, but bringing, FBI, Ponzi scheme, cheating allegations. He's this, he's that, blah, 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 blah. He said he wanted to have sex with me. He slept with everybody at my gym, blah, 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 blah. Since out of the gate, throwing napkins in Jen's face out of the gate, yelling and screaming. So what makes the most sense of who wanted a background check on Ryan? Shannon or Tamra? Obviously Tamra. And that's the gag because Tamra told on herself. She said it. She said, Shannon said, oh, Leslie Bedore's ex-husband is implicated in that lawsuit. Let's get more information about it. Right, because she wanted information on Leslie, not information on Jenn and Ryan. Because why would Shannon care? You see what I'm saying? So it's just crazy to me how Tamra thinks she's like really doing her big one. And she really thinks she's exposing Shannon. And I was really proud of Shannon for just being like, you know what, Tamra, you got to stop. You got to stop blaming me for stuff. You got to stop, lying on me. And she wasn't reactive, except for being like, I'm going to leave her own birthday. Like, stop leaving. But Tamra, again, you always tell on yourself. Always tell on yourself. What else, you guys? I think that was it. Let me see if I have anything else I want to talk to you guys about. Talked about that. Yeah. Do we want to talk about Jim Bellino and Ryan and what they're saying about Tamra and her bold-faced lies and her being accountable? Let's see. Let me pull up the article and let's talk about it. See what you guys think. Okay. And as I do that, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. All right. So this is according to Reality Blurb. It says Ryan calls out Tamra Judge for bold-faced lies after the Real Housewives of Orange County episode and asks when Shannon will hold her accountable as Vicky, Gretchen, and Jim Bellino respond. Dun, 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 dun. In the episode, Tamra claimed that a guy once approached her at the gym. The guy apparently said he used to be friends with Ryan, and he alleged that Ryan was named in a lawsuit about timeshares that weren't being built. Lies, 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 wrote Ryan on Instagram in response to Tamra's claims. I understand the premise of the show and being seen as controversial, and I'm actually okay with it. With that said, it is absolutely not okay to make up bold-faced lies that affect my life, my family, my career. I want to make it clear, I have never been involved with and or worked in the timeshare business or anything related to timeshares, he continued, and I was never named in any lawsuit regarding timeshares. He suggested that someone should hold Tamra accountable for her lies. This is complete BS, and this is not okay, he said. At what point does somebody hold this woman accountable? Multiple alums shared their support in the comments. Gretchen Rossi wrote, I'm so sorry. She did this to us as well. Straight up bold-faced lies with zero remorse for how it affects her life. Jim Bellino, who sued Tamra for slander in 2018, added, Tamra clearly did not learn from previous experiences. More BS rumors. At some point, Ryan would run out of patience like I did. Vicky Govelson seemed to agree, expressing, the only way to make her accountable is to do what Jim Bellino did. Earlier this month, Ryan suggested that he was suing Tamra after she claimed on Watch What Happens Live that he stole money from a baseball player. She then apologized twice, and she admitted that her comment was inaccurate. Dun, 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 dun. Wowzers, wowzers, wowzers. Now, this is my question. Would you guys sue Tamra Judge? Would you sue her if you were Ryan for defamation and all of that stuff? Would you sue her? My thing is this. I don't know if I would. And the only reason why is because I don't know if the juice would be worth the squeeze. Like, I don't know if she has that much money left. And also, it would just be more stressful and like a headache and like lawyer's fees. But I would read her for filth every single time I have the opportunity. That's kind of what I would do. But I don't know what you guys think. Like, whose side are you on with this? Are you on Ryan and Jen's side? Do you believe he was involved in a lawsuit? Do you believe there's something going on with the FBI and Ponzi schemes and timeshare schemes? Do you think that maybe he's involved in something shady, but not particularly the timeshare issue? Who knows? So as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, you guys, I'm going to drop the link in case anybody wants to come up and chat and hang out. And then I will take some of your candy cane questions and comments. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, Tay Tay. He says, hi, Candy. Hi, sweetheart. He says, Tamra's got a taste of her own medicine. Yes. And it was absolutely beautiful to see. I love seeing the girls step up and show out and really give it to Tamra and just not let her get away with everything. Because that's really the most infuriating part is when, like, the Lisa Rinnas of the show, when they're clearly lying, they're clearly in the ear of people that are just drinking their Kool-Aid and being their little flying monkeys, and nobody is saying anything when it's so obvious what's happening. You know? So I agree. She got her own medicine and I was here for it. Teddy says Margaret did the same thing on Louis 100%. Hey, Natasha, baby, you want to go?
Hey, girl.
Hey,
Yeah, I can't believe you had me watching the show now. I never watched OC,
I gotcha.
but I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of good this season.
Right?
I don't mind it. Yeah. Like once I started binging, I was like, okay, fine.
You're like, okay, I get it. Yeah.
I know. I agree with you. Like Jenn grew on me when she stormed in there. I was like, get her, get her. And even Heather was like, you know what? like,
Right?
kind of giving you some and she was like, it was just like something that like I feel like we all would say. And she said it in a way that wasn't like for TV. It felt like more authentic than TV stuff. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, and I think that's why I liked this episode was because it felt the most real.
Mm-hmm.
And it's felt in a long time. And I also really liked it because the women sort of let their insecurities go and they really just connected and bonded with each other.
Yeah. And I really like that, like, most of them were like coming to their senses and being like, I get it, we're on our show and we all like comfort each other, but like Tamra, like chill out. You don't have to bring up the drinking thing every time you see this poor woman. Like she's clearly in bits because she's like getting sued by her ex whose new girlfriend is like a maniac and on the show with us. Like what are you doing? Like you could see physically see on her face that she's struggling, and the sadistic smirk that Tamra has and like the joy she gets out of it is just like very unsettling to watch. I can't stand it.
Agreed, 100%. Hey, Tian. Hey, sweetheart.
Hey, it's been a
How
while.
you doing? I know.
Hey
Welcome
T.
back, Tian.
Hey, Natasha. Um, uh, yeah, I think there's like a lot of things happening. I think one, the best thing to ever happen this season was Jenn standing up to Tamra and not backing down. I feel that Tamra and Heather think that they're like, queen bees, and unfortunately, like they're not, and they're making themselves look very dumb in this entire situation. And Tamra is like trying to hold on like for dear life, and like is so desperate to remain on the show that she's doing a lot of she's showing her true colors, really. I wouldn't say she's doing dumb things. I think she's being who she actually is, and who she actually is probably not that great.
I
I
agree
had this I had
100%.
this thought that I almost feel like she should have just not come back to the show because I feel like she was earning a decent living as just like a podcast host, and people like kind of were forgetting like and not really like taking her as personally anymore, where like she could just have her opinions and people kind of like forgot that they were like ever personally connected to her, and it seemed like they were making money, they were getting good like ad revenue, and it could have been like a solid like thing for her, and then her coming back in the show just completely like ripping off the mask and showing like how dark she really is, loses complete public favor, and now like her podcast is probably in jeopardy,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Agreed. I do have a disagreement with you, Miss Candy. I
Yes.
think
Go.
Kylie is a young woman, right? A young girl who is
Mhm.
navigating through this being on television, and she could have been talking to a friend, on Instagram, whatever what it was, saying like, "Oh my God, Heather's so like annoying," or Heather's like a bully or whatever. And kids, when you think they're not listening, they're always picking up on something, you know. And I think maybe the kids were like, "Oh, mommy, we heard, Kylie. Her name is Kylie, correct?"
Yeah, it's Kyle.
Yeah. And, you know, and they're like, oh, my, you know, and Emily was probably like, don't say that. Like, you know, that's, you know, Kylie's opinion. Like, don't do that. However, for Heather to even bring it up is just the dumbest thing in the whole entire world. Like, who cares if 2 8-year-olds were like, eh, I don't like that lady. You know, you take it with a grain of salt. You're like, right, cool, whatever. You don't like me. I don't really like, you know, it's like you know, kids all the time would be like, mommy, you're ugly, or mommy, you're fat, or, you know, like to their, like just speaking out loud, and like, you just have to like brush it off. So like for Heather to be like, so like hurt by this entire thing is so dramatic. And two, it's like, let's look at your life, Miss Mamas. You know, and you should never bring up 2 young boys who are like, you should never just be like, oh my God, they hate me, and you know, your mom must be saying something. No, they're 2 young boys who say everything. I have a nephew who is like 5 years old who just today he told me I look like a grandpa, and I don't, but I'm like not gonna like be like, oh my God, he told me I look like a grandpa, you know. Like, okay, kid, you know, calm down. I think Heather is like trying to figure out, you know, who she can attack next, and unfortunately it's not working because everybody's fighting right back.
I would say this though. I would say, well, first, let me clarify what was said on the show about what happened between the boys and Kylie. So, Katie and Kylie's version of what happened is that Kylie was babysitting the boys, and Kylie was like, "Oh, like, have you met your mommy's friends, or what do you think about them from like the show?" And the boys were like, "Oh, mommy said that Heather is always yelling at her and she's really bossy." So that was the version Kylie said, that Katie was like, oh, yeah, tell them what the boys said when they were all filming together with Tamra and Tamra's daughter, versus the version that Emily said. So Emily said that the boys said that Kylie was the one who was talking about Heather, saying Heather was bossy. Heather was like yelling at her mother, as in Katie. And then Emily and Shane said, okay, well, don't repeat that. And then we're not going to have Kylie babysit the boys anymore. And we're not going to say anything. We're going to let it go and not bring it to the show. Just not have Kylie babysit and don't repeat that. So those are the two versions of what happened. I kind of land on however it happened. To me, I think it's weird for Kylie to be talking to 8-year-old children about the women at all in any context. Even in her own story, why are you asking an 8-year-old boy, 8-year-old boys, their opinion on their mother's grown women friends? Like, how does that come up in conversation when you're 19 years old and you're babysitting little boys? So that to me was what was weird. So even in her own telling of the story, I was like, Kylie, like, I just couldn't imagine looking at like my niece or something and asking her opinion on like grown folk when I'm babysitting her. Like that to me is just weird. And I feel like Kylie herself, she's 19, she's still young and still impressionable. And to me, it was more indicative of Kylie listening to Katie bash Heather, because Katie came in hard and hot and heavy for Heather for no reason, because Heather doesn't even know who Katie is. So to me, it was more like Kylie was listening to Katie to say, Heather yells at me, Heather's bossy, she's this, that, and the third. She took that information and then she's talking to these 8-year-old children about it. So whether the boys brought it up or if she brought it up, it's still just weird. But my gut, I don't think that 8-year-old boys are going to bring up Heather Dubrow in conversation without being prompted first. And Kylie even said she asked the boys. And that's what I thought was weird. And I think the reason why Heather was crying and was upset, it wasn't so much because she was like personally hurt because 8-year-old boys were talking about her, allegedly. I think she was crying because A, I don't think Heather's in a good place. I think she's sad. I think she's depressed. I think she's lonely. I think she's going through something. And B, I think it was more of just like, I can't catch a break with these women. Like, they always come at me. They're always, saying I'm bossy, saying I'm this, saying I'm that, saying I think I'm perfect, but I'm not. This is just my personality. And then she just got done with the whole Gina and the pants situation coming at her. Now, all of a sudden, that's not good to hear, that you think you're friends with someone and you hear that their children are saying that their parents are talking crap about you, that's not good to hear. And it's not like an isolated situation. It's like piled onto every single thing that has happened between them. She's beefing with Gina about Gina not having her back with Katie. Now it's this and that. So I think it's more of a reaction to a lot of different things. Whereas if it was an isolated situation, she probably would have just let it blow off. But when it's like the straw that broke the camel's back. When it's been one thing, then another thing, then another thing, it's just like enough.
Yeah, her limit was reached.
Her limit was reached. And I get that. I would feel sometimes way if I heard
I get that too.
my niece or my nephew or my friend's children are being like, oh, you know, mommy and daddy are talking crap about Candy. I would be like, they are. You know what I mean?
Why wouldn't you just go to Emily like beforehand and be like, did your boys say this? And like, what do they mean by that? You know?
Mm-hmm.
But I get it. She hit her limit. And, you know, even, you know, when you're at your limit, the slightest little thing, you know, even when you're frustrated, you're like, oh my God, like this thing broke. And you're like, cry, right? Because you're just like, I just had it.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, that's happened to me like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, everyone,
where
right?
like you're like, I'm just like, you just like cry, and they're like, why are you so upset? I'm like, no, I'm actually upset about like 100 things. Like I have a list in my head.
Yeah.
This is just why I'm reacting.
Totally. Yeah. I think also just I don't know about Heather. I think she has a very hard time of looking in the mirror and being accountable. I think that she in her head wants her life to be picture perfect, and I think she's realizing it's not, and it never was, you know. And I think, you know, I think people were intimidated by her, and now that no one's intimidated by her, really, she's kind of getting like, oh crap, you know, I don't have control over this situation. And Heather to me seems like someone who, it's not a bad trait, it's I'm indifferent about it, but likes to be in control of every situation, you know. And I feel like right now she's realizing, oh shoot, I can't control anything right now, you know. And I think that's part of like her part of reactions to a lot of things.
Yeah, she does kind of look sad in her eyes. You can kind of tell she looks like emotionally worn out.
I feel really bad for Heather. I do. I think she gets misunderstood a lot, because I think that when you're a woman like a Heather Dubrow type, where it's like front facing, it seems like you do have it all. You have the money and the husband and the kids and the businesses and this and that. And then you have this personality that is maybe a little bit of a type A and a perfectionist and all of these things. People stop looking at you as a human. They forget that you have feelings too. And they think that, just like we see with Gina and Emily all of the time, they take every single thing Heather says or does out of context. They project their own insecurities, they bend it and they twist it. And Heather is just like, can I breathe without you thinking that I'm like looking down on you? And it's really their own insecurities at her. And I think that and I agree. I do think that she has that personality type where of course she cares about appearances. Of course she cares about being in control. And I think that those are also very human things, that people do care about what people think. They do care about opinions, and they do struggle with control issues. And another reason why I kind of feel bad for Heather, because I don't think her and Terry are in the best place as they pretend to be. I think that she's gotten to a point in her life where on the outside looking in, you think she has everything, but she never really was able to, you know, pursue her acting career and her dreams. And she sort of put that on the side to help her husband. And if she had been and I think that if she had been a woman who wanted to be a teacher or a nurse or a lawyer or something like that, and she put her career on hold to help her husband, everyone would be like, oh, that poor woman, she sacrificed her happiness for her husband. But because it's Heather, they're just like, oh, whatever, fancy pants. They're very dismissive of it, when the truth is those feelings are still the same. Not feeling fulfilled, feeling like you sacrificed yourself for someone else who's all about him and all about what he wants. Those are still very human things. And then also when it comes to her children, I think it's very hard because, you know, she has 4 children. 3 of them have different sexual identities. And I think navigating that as a parent, it can be very rewarding, but also when now it also becomes like another thing where it's like now she's like on the board of, you know, foundations and raising money and raising awareness, which is all great. But also at the same time, I'm not a parent, so I don't know, but I'm just assuming that you just want to be a mother and you don't want to have to always be the martyr in the face of issues and things while you're navigating what that looks like and feels like within your own family. But I feel like because she's a Debro, she like has to do it, and nobody kind of stops and says, you know, Heather, how are you doing?
I get that.
None of the women ever come to Heather as if she's actually a human being and a woman who has, what's going on with the background noise? And has a woman who has, as a woman and as a mother, who has true struggle and hurt and insecurity and abilities, because she does.
But she also came on very strong as if she was that woman, right? So you treat people you teach people how to treat you, right? And so when you, and this has happened to me, right? People are like, oh, like, you know, your feelings don't get hurt. I'm like, they do get hurt. I just don't express it and I hold it to myself. But then I had to realize that's my problem. I need to express when my feelings are hurt, right? I need to be more open and vulnerable in that way so people understand, hey, guess what? Like, you can't just tell me whatever you want to tell me and say whatever it is that you want to say to me. These are hurting my feelings, and I can say, hey, guess what? I mean, through therapy and work, right? Like, and so maybe she is kind of like, oh crap.
Wait, Tian, wait 1 second, not to cut you off, but Miss T says, hey, y'all, can't stay. Today is my birthday, but I had to say hello in the live. Happy birthday, Miss T! Woo! I just wanted to
Happy birthday, Miss T.
Woo, woo, woo. I wish I would have known. I would have thrown you like a little fiesta. Happy birthday, Miss T. I love you so much, and I truly appreciate you. You've been my Candy Cane mod from day one, and I absolutely adore you, and I love you. So have a blessed and beautiful birthday, and I appreciate you so much.
Aww.
Yay, happy birthday, Miss T. Okay, Tian, keep going.
Yeah, and so I think, you know, and that happens, right? You kind of get stuck in this personality that people kind of assume you to be, and you feel like you have to play that character. Yeah, like, and so like I think right now she's realizing, oh crap, like, you know, I'm glad she's showing emotion, you know, and I take back what I said, that, you know, she was like crying over, you know, spilt milk, when in actuality, thank you, Candy, for bringing it to my attention, that maybe she's at her wit's end. So we can give her grace, right? Or at least I can. I'm not, you know, telling anybody else to do. But I think she's okay now that you're like explained all this. I've, you know, processed it a little.
Yeah.
I think she's she's pivoting in her life, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and she's understanding, like, okay, cool, I have all these things. Like, I don't ever think she's someone that would ever ask for help, you know? I think right now she's realizing, oh crap, maybe I can't do it all. And maybe for her, she's feeling guilty that she can't, when in all actuality, no one can, you know?
Right. 100%.
And I think that, you know, it's admirable that she's like, you know, an advocate for, you know, LGBTQIA plus, you know, the community. But sometimes you have to say, you know, maybe I'm just doing this a little too much, not to take, you know, a step back. And she's probably not a person that can say that, because she wants to do it all and she wants to be successful at it. So again, Candy, you've got me to think a little differently.
Yes. And there's also, I feel like,
I know, I hate when she does
like,
that. I'm just kidding.
and there's also like the expectation. If it's like, oh, like if something's going on with the Debro, of course Heather's going to have a charity. Of course she's going to do something philanthropic. So it's almost like she might feel obligated.
That's what I said. Obligation.
Yeah. And then when she
like the pressure too.
Right. When she may need that energy to process, you know, her own understanding of what it means to now be a mother of three rainbow children, you know, like what does that feel like for her? And then also when you brought the point about her, you know, pivoting and maybe through therapy and asking for help, I agree. I think that she has been changing and growing. Like for example, she brought up the fact about none of the girls asking about her breast cancer when, not that she has breast cancer. I don't mean it that way. Take that back, Karma. I meant when she got the mammogram and nobody asked her, what the results of her mammogram was. She did come to Gina and to the group and said, hey, if I felt kind of some way that nobody asked me. And then literally Gina made it about herself and was just like, I don't know how to be a friend to you. Why were you mad about that? And Heather was like, whoa. I'm just saying, hey, like 2 people in my family were diagnosed with breast cancer. We can't talk about that because that's their medical history. But I never said not to check in on me. And now I'm telling you that it hurt me that you didn't. And now all of a sudden I'm the bad guy because I'm telling you that what you did hurt me. Like
It's
that.
like, just say sorry, Gina. God.
Yeah, like Gina then flipped it and was like, Heather, I don't know how to be a friend to her. And I don't know what the expectation, like literally all she said was, hey, like I brought you guys to get mammograms and you guys were all talking about it. And no one said, hey, Heather, are you okay? What happened with yours? And I get there was the miscommunication around, they heard her say, yay, when they were talking about Gina's, but and Shannon, and I think it was Jenn, who were in the waiting room. So they assumed everything was okay with Heather. However, Heather didn't see that. So if you are literally in one room and you say, oh, Heather's good, but Heather doesn't see it or hear it, then Heather doesn't know that. So the fact that you heard her say yay about Gina and you assumed it was about herself through a wall and in a different room, I totally understand how that was a miscommunication, but Heather doesn't know that. And so that's what I mean by like the women, when Heather does try to say, hey, what you did hurt me, or I need support in this. And even when she was talking to Gina about the Katie thing, when Katie was doing the paparazzi and all that, she said, just come to me next time. She's like, if someone's plotting against me to come to the show with all these paparazzi receipts, like you're supposed to be my friend. Like you come to me and you talk to me. Don't let me just get, ran over by a bus. And then Gina's like, I don't know what to do about Heather. Blah, blah, blah. Like, it's like, she's communicating to you that, hey, you're my friend and I expect some kind of loyalty. And like, also you're my friend and it hurt my feelings. You didn't ask about my mammogram. And then all of a sudden it becomes Heather's the problem in that. Like, that's what I mean by the women don't see Heather as human because they only see her through the lens of their own insecurities.
But
And I also think, like, to be devil's advocate, though, like, to be fair, like, I'm not a fan of Gina. I think this is her typical behavior. It's consistent with. However, like, I feel like right now, like, she's feeling very, like, the bad guy in her romantic situation. I don't think she likes Travis, but she just has all this guilt. So then, like, any, like, smidgen of, like, ability to accept any kind of criticism or, like, approach where, like, it could be considered where she was in the wrong, it's just, like, she's like, I can't, like, you know what I mean? She's, like, immediately, like, system overload kind of deal.
No,
However,
but she does the same thing when her and Emily talk about Heather. And that has when Emily is talking about Heather, Gina never has Heather's back ever. Like
that's
with
true.
the whole Jean and the fashion show thing, like Gina was bashing Heather with Emily. That's why Emily was so hyped about the whole situation. She's like, yeah, she just doesn't see your point. She doesn't hear you. She just can't, see you and validate you. And I was like, excuse me? What in the world? Like Heather literally was like, I want you to be in the fashion show. I'm giving you 2 different looks. I put you in a beautiful dress because I think you look gorgeous, and bring your own jeans, which anybody who works in fashion or with body types, jeans are really hard. And I would be like, thank you so much. I can bring my own jeans because I'd be worried I wouldn't fit in them or whatever the case may be.
Shoes too. Like
and for Emily to project all of that and be like, Heather, I always want you to see me. Emily, you are a grown-ass woman with a whole little husband and some children. Like, why are you sitting here crying and falling apart and being like, I just want Heather to see me. You only see me as the fat friend or the fat girl. What?
Like, Heather isn't responsible for these feelings of yours.
Like, and that's what I mean. It's like, no, Emily.
No, she's not, but no one's also responsible for Heather.
That's how you see yourself. And there's a difference between I forgot what it is. Anyway, people need to realize when they are projecting onto somebody else. And I just see Gina and Emily projecting a lot into Heather. Not that I think Heather is perfect. Not that I think Heather doesn't have her own issues she needs to do. Not that I think that she doesn't have her own control and perfectionism and all of that stuff. You know, fancy pants is fun for a reason. But I think more often than not, the biggest issue, I think, is that I just don't think Gina and Emily really like Heather. I think they pretend to like her.
That makes sense.
I don't think they really do.
They feel like they can't relate, and so they don't even like put her in their mind. Like they don't even
Yeah.
I'd like to have like one perspective of having to bring your genes, right? Emily obviously has gone through some, fluctuating weight, and that lingers with you.
Mhm.
And so sometimes even just one little comment or one little thing will trigger something within you, right? Even when I was like in my skinniest of skinniest, if anybody said anything to me, I'd be like, oh my God. And I think and I think maybe that is a trigger for Emily.
Mhm.
Another thing is, why the hell can anybody be accountable and just say, I'm so sorry?
That's what I mean. Like, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize. I would never
Exactly.
want to make you feel that way. If I I'm sorry. I don't like saying if, but it's just really not that hard. And it goes a long way. And just be like, moving forward, I'll try to be more careful with the words I choose. Okay, we're good. Love you. Bye. Like, it's not that hard.
Yeah. And I also agree. Heather lost me a lot this season. I still have a soft spot for her, but she needs to get her head out of Tamra's butt.
I don't like what she did to Shannon with like Shannon clearly was confiding in her.
Yeah.
She's very vulnerable. Like,
but I think it was Tamra who turned her with the whole Jeff Lewis thing. Oh, Shannon's using you. I already knew about that. She's just trying to get her narrative out there. Every single thing Heather said sounded exactly the way Tamra talks, not even the way Heather talks.
People need to stop talking to Jeff Lewis. It's getting out of hand. Like he's always triangulating these ladies and like creating he's chaos. He's like literally an agent of chaos.
Yeah. Hey, Johnny, you want to share, sweetheart?
Hey, I'm driving right now. I'm gonna wait till I get to a spot, and then I'm gonna jump in.
Okay, take your time. Jump in.
He's like, because I have something to say.
Yeah, safety first. Safety first.
Yeah, yes.
Safety first. 10 and 2.
Okay. I want to say that Shannon Bador is coming off great this season. The edit has been very favorable, although she does kind of storm out. But her name is Storms Bador. And I think it was such a waste for Alexis Bellino to be on this show because she's not doing anything great for herself, Alexis at least. And I saw a thing with Jim Bellino, and he actually seems like an okay person now. Don't know how he was before and don't know him in person, but the way he came off on like this one podcast was just kind of very like, okay, he's not that bad as maybe he was made out to be. Or he did say that he's been through a lot of therapy and worked on himself, and like he's like a changed person. And he has like a restaurant in Palm Springs and is like all about like, he said he's never felt more accepted by any other group than like the LGBTQIA plus community in Palm Springs has been so welcoming to him and so like unconditionally loving that he's like, oh my God, I never knew what that was. And Alexis Bellino kind of, I think, shot herself in the foot by going so hard for Shannon.
Agreed across the board.
Wait, now, I have a quick question.
Has Jim come out, or
that's what I mean. Like,
no, he has a restaurants in Palm Springs, and he's just like, oh my God,
in the community, and he feels accepted by the community. Okay,
yeah,
that's like because I was like, wait, are you saying something?
No, he's like, I'm a straight guy, and like this community just embraced me, and like I'm none of the letters in the alphabet, I'm just like, the straight guy who opened up, like, he's like, they've shown me the most support I've ever had, like, from any other business that I've operated. And I'm like, cool, like, you found, like, where you're at, where you're supposed to be, you know what I mean? And sometimes that happens, right? Mm-hmm. But he just comes off so like mature, level-headed, and doesn't speak any ill will towards Alexis Bellino. at
That's
all.
good.
He's like, that's the mother of
That's
my
when you
child.
know he's healed, right?
Yeah. And
Favorite- yeah.
he says like, yeah, there's some stuff that I work on and things do trigger me, like this um the fact that like the lawsuit was brought up and all this other stuff. It's like it's a crazy like different person than the kind of controlling, kind of overly, I won't say overly, but like religious, person that was, kind of like very strict, and your wife's supposed to do this, and there's the roles in the household and all this other stuff. He's I feel like someone who, and he says that he's worked on himself and he's still working on himself. I think it's like it's good to see the kind of evolution of someone, that we were the growth, absolutely, and then accountability, right? And I always say accountability is like the best thing you can ever do. Like say I messed up and I'm sorry, and the respect that you will get if you're truly sorry and truly like, feel that you made a mistake and not make a mistake a habit, I think is like amazing. And I think that poor Alexis, I think was reeled in, coerced by Tamra Judge, and producers told her go in, and Tamra was like, yeah, go in on Shannon. And then now it's kind of like, damn, boo, you were with the wrong team. You better get on the right team.
Mm-hmm. I agree 100% with that. And I think that I think Tamra, Heather to a degree, but Heather to me is just like really depressed and just doing whatever Tamra says at this time. But I think Tamra and Alexis thought because Shannon had a DUI that Shannon would automatically be like the black sheep, that it was going to be a Shannon takedown season because of the DUI. When the truth was, this is really Shannon's redemption season. Like this is her like rising from the ashes. She's had a pretty much flawless edit like every single episode, and I think that this is really her Phoenix season, whereas I think that they thought it was going to land differently, the way that they were acting, like Alexis and Tamra, and baked in with that Heather too. I think they thought that they were going to be the heroes and that everyone was going to poo-poo on Shannon because of the DUI, and that clearly didn't happen. I also think that Alexis, I forgot she was on the show until you actually said it right now. Like I literally forgot she was even on it. But I also think that Alexis is almost like a victim of John Jansen as well. Because I feel like John Jansen uses women, and again, I'm not a doctor, I don't diagnose, I'm just saying what I think he does based on his behavior, public behavior, because I know he likes to sue people. He to me seems like he is the type of person who can smell trauma on a woman.
Uh-huh.
I think that he took advantage of Shannon when she had just gone through her divorce, which was very traumatic for her. She was cheated on. There were allegations of abuse. It was, David Bedore got the mistress pregnant. Now they're married. Like Shannon was going absolutely through it. And then John Jansen comes in and he has her basically earn him by paying for everything. I believe Shannon 100%. I do think she was giving him and paying for everything in their relationship, probably until like the last year or so, but they were together for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that he smells trauma on a woman. Then you have Alexis Bellino. I don't know how long ago it was that she divorced Jim, but the biggest trauma was she had just lost her mother. And then her mother just passed away, who she was super close to. And you can still see in her that she's grieving and she's not all there. Because I can't even imagine that. Never would think about it. But when you lose your mother and then all of a sudden John Jansen comes in during that grieving process, and now he's making her earn him, not necessarily their money. I don't know who pays for what, but by being his mouthpiece.
Mm-hmm.
By going on the show, going after Shannon, doing press, releases and doing press tours and lawsuits and all this stuff. She's earning him. He's making her work for him by being his mouthpiece. The same way he made Shannon work for him by paying for everything. It's the same. It's still abuse, just a different means of abuse.
Absolutely.
To me, John Jansen really is like the predator in this situation, and then he pits these two women against each other. And the gag is, or the sick part is, I actually think Alexis wants to be, like, legitimately in her cuckoo mind, wants to be friends with Shannon and wants her approval. She's like, let's get past this, like blah, blah, blah. And you can tell she's like conflicted. I think there's like,
you can see it in her eyes.
See it that she's conflicted, but because I do think has the trauma and maybe is in a broken place, and John Jansen is clearly skilled at manipulating women who are in low places. She's doing his bidding. Like she's literally doing his bidding, and that's what's sick and that's what's sad. And I think that's what really shot her in the foot. Whereas she should have came back. Well, I think she should have never been with John Jansen in the first place.
Period.
And however, I don't think they would have brought her back without him. But still, let's pretend they would have. And she came back to the show. What a great way to come in. You know, not a great way. I don't mean it that way, but like a stronger way to come in. Like, I'm single, I'm divorced. Unfortunately, my mother just passed away. So I have a different perspective on life. I'm ready to live and like work through that, reconnect with the women, boom, boom, boom. That would have been such a stronger position, I think, than trying to come in and be the mouthpiece of a man who's been accused of horrible things to our Shannon.
Yeah, I really feel like these predators do have a sixth sense for like the perfect victim of theirs. And it's always like a woman that's like kind of strong but broke, but has gone through something, right? And it's almost like they feed off the leftover strength, but they know they can like manipulate because they can like smell that like that brokenness in them, where they can like weasel their way in. And it's like, you see it so much. It's so consistent too. It's really sick and sad to watch.
And they feed off of hurting the woman. Like they feed off embarrassing them, because I don't care who you are. I don't care how cool you want to be.
It's like they want to break them down and they get strength from that. It's very scary.
Yeah. It's like, even like 2024, I don't care how woke you are. In my personal opinion, if a man makes a woman pay for everything, that is the epitome of embarrassment. That is the epitome of making a woman be in her wounded femininity. Like, I don't care how woke people want to be, whatever you want to call it. If a man makes a woman pay for everything, that is embarrassing. And that is you being in your wounded femininity. And that's why he preys on women who are already wounded and are already in trauma, because it's easier to break them down and exploit them. And he did that to Shannon, and still doing it to Shannon, because this whole $75,000 lawsuit has nothing to do with money. To me, it's like a humiliation ritual. He's literally only doing it to embarrass her
and break her down more, because he knows what she went through when she got sued by.
Like, whether or not the $75,000 was a loan or a gift, either way, the moment, first of all, if he was a real man, it would have been a gift, not a loan. You have been being with this woman for 4 years. He's paid your way for the majority of those years. You can't do nice things for her now that you think you got a little bit of money. You can't give her a little bit of stuff because this all happened while they were together. And mind you, she was floating him for years. So you couldn't just help her now that she needs some money for stuff. You can't just give her some money. A real man would be like, baby, I got you. Like, what do you mean loan? Like, of course I got you. Like, I couldn't fathom.
The nerve to suggest a loan is just embarrassing.
My male friends, not even a boyfriend, if I needed something, they would just give it to me.
I know that's right.
They would never. I'm serious. Like, I not to toot my own horn, but I'm very curious.
I love how he just came in there.
Right? They would give it to me. No sex, no nothing. These are like literally my platonic male friends. If I ever needed something, they would be like, Candy, I got you. What do you need? Because that's what you do. You know what I'm saying? So, and then also, let's just pretend it's even cool for him to be like, no, it was a loan. You need to pay it back. Let's just pretend on any wackadoodle world that actually works. She said, okay, I'll pay you. And he still said, no, I'm going to drag you to trial because I don't want to sign a non-disparaging agreement. So if it really was about getting your little money back, wouldn't any sane, normal, rational person who truly just wants to move on with their life, with their new love of their life, who doesn't want to be famous, say, okay, write the check for $75K and we're good?
Well, that's a common like theme with like narcissistic personalities. They have to control the narrative. Like, it drives them nuts. The thought of them losing control of the narrative puts them in a spiral. And then you see them doing all this plotting to get it back, like crazy plotting. And that's like why it seems so crazy, because that's what he is. He cannot stand and fathom the thought of losing the narrative, having her have this platform to be able to say whatever she wants. And probably the truth too. Because like that can't happen. He has to control the narrative. So now I don't even think he really likes Alexis. What do y'all think? I
No,
think he's using her.
I
he's
don't.
using
Yeah,
her.
I don't think he likes her at all. He don't like her. He don't like no. He don't. I don't think he likes none of the women he dated at all.
I don't think he
But I
likes
do think he.
women. I'm not saying he's gay. He's like, playing for the other team, but like you know how like some straight men don't like women.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting from him. Like I think I don't even think he likes Shannon that much either, based on how spiteful he is to her. Like I think he hates her guts. And it's just like, is it because she's not giving you money anymore? I don't know.
It's because he wants to be her. Like there are men
Yeah.
who, and I'm not talking about sexuality or anything like that. There are men, gay or straight or whatever, who cares? There are men who are jealous of women and want to be them. And because they can't, they take pleasure out of breaking them down.
Mm,
Because he keeps saying, I don't want to be famous, I don't want to do this, but yet you're doing press releases, you're doing press tours, you're doing red carpet appearances, you are dating a housewife and you're pushing her to be back on the show. You're literally
right.
there while they're filming, because remember the scene where Jenn and Katie went to Alexis's house to tell her she couldn't go on the trip. John was there, and that's why he
Yeah.
got so mad and she kicked him out, and then she goes upstairs. So if you hate Shannon Bedore so much and you're so mad at her because you don't want to be famous and she's talking about you on a TV show, then why are you doing everything in your power to still stay in that position that you only had because of her?
Yeah.
It's giving very Tom Sandoval with Ariana. He
Yes.
wanted Ariana's everything. She couldn't do a dang cocktail book without him being involved because all this other stuff. John Jansen is doing the exact same thing. And then we missed something else about Alexis. She had a whole fiance and got with John Jansen, like, I don't know, a month or two later.
Oh, really?
See, thank you for that. He spots the trauma. He spots the trauma and he smells it, because what happened with the fiance? Did he leave her?
I didn't
I
even
have
know that.
this theory of like these kind of men. I feel like I have this theory that they were most likely brought up under like an emotionally absent mother, and they have like some kind of like emotional detachment to women, like because of it. Like they have like a mommy issues. Because I would just be really curious. Like I know I'm never gonna find out, obviously, but like what his relationship with his mother, because I just feel like it goes deep with these kind of men that like don't like women and do this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, I don't think he likes women, and I'm saying it in a sense of like, because this, like Candy said, there is men that do not like women, and there's not necessarily gay, they're straight. It's just the fact that they want to be them. Like women gets perks in some ways that men can't, and if they can't get them in that way, they start to like envy them, and that's why I think this why this whole money thing with Shannon is going on, and then him. I basically feel like he sent Alexis for Shannon. So it's just like that's a very petty thing to do. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't really like talking about John Jansen. So it just
Well,
like
you don't have to.
infuriates me.
You can sound off about anything you want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, all my opinions are alleged. I don't know him. These are just my fantasy opinions.
Yeah, because it's like suing
Literally, I'm
people for
making this
talking about
all up
him.
based on a TV show that I'm watching. Thank you.
Yeah, because it's like suing people for their like it's just insane with what he got going on. So it's like, why give him the time of day?
Yeah. So sound off
So
on anything you want. You can go off topic. That's totally fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I have 3 points. I think that Tamara needs to go. My grandma would call her a gutter snipe. That's what she would say. Because the fact that she's like so gun hold of like ruining Shannon's reputation is kind of crazy, and they're supposed to be friends, is really disgusting. and putting it on being on the spectrum is really crazy to me. I will also say, like, this is just a theory I have, and it's just like with Shannon, she's out of all the women, I think we will say like Shannon, Heather, and Tamra are like the OGs of the group, and they really like disrespect Shannon. So I really like the fact that all the women that are not OGs stood up for her in that moment when Tamra brought that stuff up again. So standing ovations. And and my last point is like shout out to Jenn for setting boundaries. Like I'm happy we finally have a housewife to tell somebody, look, we're not good, but we're good. And that's what I have to say.
Yes. No, I agree. When Jen was like, we're good. And she was like, and Tamra was like, we're good. She was like, no, I'm good, but we're not good. I was
She's like, don't get it twisted.
don't get it twisted. That's what I was, that type of energy is what I was trying to like allude to when I was talking about Salt Lake City. Like that's how I want Lisa Barlow to be. Because Lisa Barlow, now she's giving the Shannon energy where Shannon is still that girl, but every time she gets up and she's frenzy and she storms out, she loses it. But like when Jenn was just like, we're good, but no, I'm good. And like, no, you need to shut your mouth. But she sat there and she said it with her whole chest, but she just, you know what I mean? Like that type of energy.
Yeah.
She had time.
She
And I
had the
will,
time. She's like, I got the time today. I'm snatching some edges. Let's go. And so that's the energy I want Lisa Barlow to have, not the frantic, I'm going to call people, but this like the, I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm going to read you down with my whole chest and what period. I'm not blinking, point blank. Like that is what I want. That like I said what I said and what you said was some BS. Like that between like Candy and Nene, that was like iconic. And nobody shouted, nobody got out of their seat. There was nobody being frantic, nobody stormed off. They just said what they said with their whole chest, and it was flawless.
I really like how
yeah, and
she
I really
included
think
like her
like Shannon
personality
can
too.
really lead the ladies. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I was one of the people to be like, oh, Tamara, let's come back, come back. I did not know she was gonna act like this. But yeah, that's why I think they kind of intimidated because Shannon gets along with majority of the women, and I will be like, and I think also when it comes to Heather, I agree with you, Candy. And it's like an unspoken power dynamic that I feel like the ladies feel with Heather,
Yep.
and it's just like that's not fair to Heather because at the end of the day, she's still human. She's still a person. I understand, like, she's probably the richest housewife other than, like, Nina from Dubai. But it's just, like, let her be human because at the end of the day, it's not her fault that she's in that power dynamic. She's on the show with you guys. She's living her life with you guys. And she don't have to do that. Like, she really don't. She can get off the show and be fine. But I do think Tamara is really, like, I feel like if Tamara gets off the show, I think Heather is low key kind of scared of Tamara of what she can say and what she do because she's so unhinged with what she says. So I feel like if Tamara gets off the show, I feel like that's when Heather and Shannon will be better off and be in a healthy relationship.
I
But that's
agree.
just my speculation.
I
But
would
part
love
of
to see Heather and Shannon. I think that would be a beautiful duo that we need that we don't even know we need. Like the Heather Gay and the Lisa Barlow of it. I think that's a great duo. There's another duo I'm trying to think of that I really like. I can't think of it now, but I think
You said Giselle and
Karen,
um you said Giselle and
Karen.
Karen. That's
yeah, I
right now.
do. Yes, I love
Gabrielle and
like when,
sorry,
yeah, go
what's
ahead.
her name?
Oh no, that was it.
Sutton and what's her name? I can't think of her name right now.
Garcelle,
Garcelle.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
good duo.
I will say this, Johnny. I disagree with the fact that just because you have money means that you're in a higher position. Your social economic status doesn't make you better than anybody. I will say that if the girls are intimidated by that, that's their own insecurities, you know. And so if they come into a situation thinking, oh, because you do have money, you're better, that's on them. You know what I mean? It's not, and you're right. It's not Heather's fault that she, has created a successful life for herself. But I don't think just because you don't have to be somewhere that it gives you the upper hand, because she chooses to be here, as and so for me, I think Heather is used to being in charge of everything, and right now she's not.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like 100%.
And then I know you don't want to talk about John Jansen, but Alexis seems to like formerly Jen Bellino was not very respectful of women, and I think she just maybe likes that. I don't know.
Yeah,
Jansen
like I mean, Alexis doesn't strike me as someone who has, changed or done any significant healing. I understand another tragic event occurred in her life, but like it looks like there's like a cocktail of like stuff happening in her life, and it's like manifesting into this like personality that is not likable and is doing things that isn't great. You know,
And I
I
will
don't.
say, like, even though I say I don't want to, I still will because I always make I just I just make a face every time I say his name.
Oh God.
I was like, I do not want to talk about him.
Yeah, like can we get another name? Like I feel like he's gonna appear or something. Like I don't
It's
like
like
it.
Voldemort.
It really is. Like I can just see it. Like it's scary. Yeah, I don't know. But I back to like Jen. Something that struck me, like I don't even know how to say it. Like when I was trying to say like she said it how we would say it. What I meant by is that like I feel like these women when they like confront one another, they don't like really like say like she was saying stuff that like the audience says. Like you're weird, Tamra. You're like obsessed with this. Like, you know what I mean? Like she kind of like dove into her psyche a little more, which I can always appreciate because hello, that's what us candy canes do.
Yeah, like when you said you don't have a soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, hell yeah, yeah. Like
You
I'm
know
like,
why? You know why I think that is? I think it was because in that moment it was actually just raw. Like it
mm-hmm.
wasn't premeditated, it wasn't scripted, it wasn't any of that. It wasn't trying to control a
It was
narrative.
spontaneous.
It was real. It was actually real, and that's what made the moment so powerful because number one, Jen didn't know that Shannon was going to tell her that. Like she had no idea. And I also think the reason why it was so powerful is because clearly it was brewing. Like Tamra had been tearing Jen up for the last year and a half, just tearing everything about her life, her clothes, her man, her kids, being evicted, her whole life. Tamra was just tearing up, down, upside down, all over the place. And you match that with someone who is in a vulnerable position, who just got evicted, who has children, who, thank God she had her parents to help her, and then she had Ryan to help her, so someone who is in that position where it's like, girl, I know I'm in a tough spot. I have kids. I just got kicked out of my house because my husband and my ex-husband wasn't paying me child support out here in these streets. So I had to leave, So I think when you're really going through hard stuff and then someone who claims to be your friend but continuously gaslights you, like she said, she's like, you say you love me, but you don't love anything about me. That's the essence of gaslighting somebody. No, I
Yeah.
love you. You're amazing. But in the next breath, oh, you're wearing that, or you said this, or where you're like, wait a minute, I'm so confused about this, like that, up and downness of it all. But the reason why she sounded like the way we sound is because she was just talking raw. Like how we're just sitting here talking, like, yeah, Tamara has no soul, da da da. We're just chopping it up. That's how she was, but on 10, because she was actually going through it. There was nothing actually premeditated about that because she had no idea Shannon was going to say that. So we saw the realness of it. And that's why I think this episode and the end of the last episode when she popped off was so good, was because I think for the first time in a long time, we're seeing the women have real conversations that have not been pre-talked about, pre-planned, pre-produced, that they're doing themselves. That's why the women finally are connecting with, like, I feel like even this episode, that's why I loved Emily and I loved Gina so much, because they kind of put the mask down. They put down what they had clearly talked about at the kitchen table decided what the narrative was going to be and then show up on the set and say what they were going to say. And then we, the audience, are like, what are you talking about? You're just projecting your stuff. That's not what happened. But the reason why I think they were all able to connect this episode was because they were all actually present and they were all in it. And nothing that happened in this episode was pre-produced. We actually got reality, and that's why it was so good.
That's why this entire season is so good, right? Tamra came in with the preconceived idea of, you know, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And I think some of the other ladies were like, well, I'm just going to go with the flow. At least that's what it feels like. And so you're looking at, like, you know, Tamra, and unfortunately, you know, whatever Heather's going through, she feels like she has to attach herself to Tamra. It's kind of like, okay, calm down, you know? We can see right through you. We know exactly what's going to happen next, especially for Tamra. You're going to act the fool at the lunch, and you know, do this, that, and the other. And then when you get called out, you're going to do something stupid and say something stupid. It's like the dumbest thing. I think that's what's making this kind of season very watchable, because for a while it really wasn't. And I think that's why, like, you know, Katie's story kind of fell through, because she came in with like, oh, I'm going to call out someone on this. It's like, no. And who cares if everybody calls it? Just so you know, everybody in the entire industry calls the paparazzi. Let's know where they're going to be. And it's up to the paparazzi if they want to show up or not. And it's a story, and you have to do it to stay relevant. That's just the name of the game, right? And, you know, maybe Katie's not used to, like, you know, the industry, but still, it's not a big deal. Like, if you want to call paparazzi, call paparazzi. And then another thing I'd like to say is, talking about anybody's financial situation is pretty messed up. To say like, oh, Jen, you're being evicted, I would never bring that up, and I would never hold that against anybody, because you never know what someone is going through. You never know what just happened. Anything can happen, you know, crazy, right? And, like, you know, they made fun of Gina with her little casita, and it's just like, well, Gina's doing what she can to do the best that she can, and it's like, you know, not her fault, you know, for the most part, that she's in this situation. Why are you making fun of it? Why are you making fun of, you know, Jen getting evicted? Or why are you talking about Jen getting evicted? And why are you saying something about Shannon Medora, like, oh, she can't afford a facelift, but she can buy us this Burberry everything, when you know damn well the production bought it? Like, you, like, it's, to me, it's kind of like, what are you even doing? Like
it's almost like when, like, too much fake stuff happens, like Tamra's clearly, like, she's coming in just like, her whole energy is just like, I'm going to cause drama, whether it's authentic or not. And it's almost like when that happens, it almost causes the pendulum to swing in the other direction toward real reactions. So you're like, you're going too far. Can you chill out? Like, this woman is actually grieving. Like, we get it. We have criticisms too, but, like, have some humanity. Like, you're beating her down, and no one likes a bully at the end of the day.
And I will say this: I think Tamara is, like, low key intimidated by Jen, and not in a sense of like money or anything. I think it's more so the simple fact that Jen, we only scratching the surface with Jen. Jen has a lot of story to tell, and that makes a great housewife. Man, you know who wants to be a great housewife? Tamara.
And I think you notice she piped, like, kind of like what Candy said. It's like bullies, like, you stand up to them, and then all of a sudden they're like, they don't got a lot to say all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like, she shut, like,
all the way down.
Right? And she's like looking at her, and Jen's ready. Like, got anything else? We can keep going. Like, I promise. Like, there's more where that came from.
I just felt like a proud mom watching
I
Jen.
know. We're like clapping. And she
Yes.
just, you could tell she was genuinely surprised. It was great to watch. It was nice.
It was great.
It was refreshing. I loved it. I loved everything.
And it was raw and it was real. And that's why it was so good, because all of the women were actually present in the moment, not working on what they had already rehearsed. And that's another reason why I loved the Emily and Heather conversation that they had on the park bench about the kids and about Kylie and Katie and stuff. I felt that was actually like a real conversation where that's actually an appropriate time to be for both of them to see and hear each other and validate each other. And that is what happened. You know, Emily wasn't projecting, Heather wasn't being defensive. They had a real conversation, and they were able to get to the bottom of it and get up and hug and everything be cool. And you know what I mean? And that's what I really loved, where Emily was just like, look, this is what happened. And Heather was just like, okay, thanks for telling me. Like, that really hurt what I heard, but like, I believe you and I understand you and we're good. That was a great example of a good time where these two women needed to validate and hear and see each other. So,
But of course, Tamra had to ruin it, right? By being like, oh, Katie's
of course.
And I'm like, just let them hug it out. It has nothing to do with you. You should be very excited that two people just work through something and be like, good, like, let's move on. Let's go somewhere else. Let's walk, let's go on the London Eye. Like, instead, she had to like bring it back down, make it about her, and then try to bring somebody else down. It's like, homegirl, no, like, let these two do what they need to do, hug it out. It's a wonderful situation, right? And then you have to go and turn it left. And I'm like, no, Tamra, like, just shut up.
And I will like to say that, like, I did not like Katie at first, but she is really growing on me. She's giving me Cynthia vibes, and I am really happy that. Hold on, my mom was talking to me.
No, it's okay.
Katie's skin is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I was just looking at it like every time. I'm like, God, her skin's good.
She's a gastro person, so I swear that like gut health really helps.
Oh yeah, that gut health has her skin glowing.
No, but I agree. Katie, to me, I did not like her in the beginning, but she grew on me the last couple of episodes, and I really love the vibe between Katie, Jenn, Gina, maybe Emily if she's being normal, and Shannon. I thought that was a complete vibe this episode. And also the only thing with Katie is whatever bone she has for Heather, she's got to let it go. Like, it's bleeding into the children. Like, your daughter, who like 19, you're still like a baby, it feels the need to be on the show and like talk crap about
it's
Heather
too much. Yeah, come on.
children. It's like you like, this is my thing. I just want to be like, Katie, what did Heather do to you? Like, what is your actual beef with Heather? Like, what did she do? I don't know.
Hey,
maybe she previously watched the show and she like didn't like her as a character, so she came in with like already a bias.
I think that Katie is intimidated by Heather, and I think that Katie and Gina talked so much crap about Heather before the season started, and Katie can't get out of that mold where Gina's just like, girl, I was just talking to you. That's kitchen table talk. Don't actually let Heather know we hate her.
Hey, I'm back. Mom's gave me a phone call.
It's okay.
All right, so I was gonna say, I'm really liking Heather now. I'm not Heather. I do like Heather. But I was saying I'm really liking Katie because, like, I think before, like you said before, like, I do think she's intimidated by Heather. I think she was talking. I do all of that stuff you said. I think happened. I don't think Gina likes Heather at all. I think she's intimidated by Heather, all that, and I don't know why Katie in the beginning of the season was coming in hot with lukewarm water. And yeah, but I feel like her role right now is perfect for her because she's already like a mellow person. Like I said, she kind of giving Cynthia vibes, and I feel like if she gives that, she can stay for a long time and basically be like a neutralist of the group instead of
I agree.
being like a confrontation. Because she's really not good in confrontation. She's just okay, okay. So she might as well just be and I like her confessionals a lot, and I think Cynthia had a lot of great confessionals. So, and I love Jennifer and Katie's relationship as well. Like, I'm happy they built a bond, and I think they really shine together.
I agree.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they should team up against Tam Tam.
Oh yeah.
And like stay teamed up. Don't let anybody come between them.
Where is Adam?
Is there anybody on the show y'all don't want there anymore other than Tamra, or everybody else is fine?
Alexis doesn't need to come back.
Okay.
Tamra can go, and the rest of the women I'm actually okay with. I'm only if Gina and Emily keep this energy. If they fall back, they can go too. But if they keep the energy of being present and normal. I didn't mind them this episode. I actually enjoyed them.
Tamra needs to go. She gives me Whitney Rose kind of energy, like that same kind of like unhinged desperado, like unsettling, like I'm willing to do anything and I will take pleasure in stuff that I shouldn't take pleasure in. You know, it's like it's uncomfortable to watch. I don't like it.
Yeah.
And so it's like I feel like it's like, although Tamra is like, to put them in the same category is almost insulting to Tamra, but like it's like the same kind of category. You know what I mean?
I mean, Tamara said she wanted to coach Monica, so I don't think her being compared to Whitney would be that bad.
Yeah, it's not that big of a stretch.
And I do feel like Whitney is like almost on the same level as Monica. Like as far as like an unhinged, like you don't know what she's capable of doing. Like it's just like anything at this point. Like it's uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree. I want to say, and I really want Emily to be confident in her skin. Like, please, like, I want her to be so confident because she is gorgeous. She's pretty.
Literally gorgeous. Like her face card.
Yes, and I love the way she dressed. I do.
Sometimes I don't think she dresses great for her body type. And that's a thing. It's like that'll ruin your self-esteem right there. If you're not
Oh yeah.
dressing for your body type, like you'll feel frumpy when you're not. Like it's very important.
True.
I can't stress it enough. Like you could have a
Stress it enough.
I can't. I want to shout it from the rooftops. Like, women, come on. And just be conscious of like, there are certain types of clothes that are for certain types of body types. Like, just like, you could have like the perfect body, like, and that includes like maybe like, to some perfect, like having hips. People with hips can't wear a shift dress, a straight down dress. It makes us look weirdly wide, even though we're not because we have hips. It's just like stuff like that. You just have to be conscious. And I'll never forget that weird, like, ruffly number she wore to the reunion. I'm like, girl.
Oh yeah. Never mind. I don't like the way she dressed no more. I forgot.
I was so mad at her. I'm like, you're so pretty and you do have a good figure. Like, it's just like, why are you dressing like that? It's
And
like, yeah, you're not OC's size 0. Who cares?
I'm gonna say, did y'all see the reunion looks?
No. Are they out?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
reunion
they're
looks
out.
for OC is
Should we
out.
do a quick review, Kim?
Oh my gosh, if I had them like ready, I would. We can do it this weekend or next week, I promise.
Okay, I would love. I'm
I,
excited.
I
All
love
right,
I love a good fashion
fine. Well,
police review.
fine. I'm gonna mute myself. I'll find a good shot, okay? But now you
Yeah.
guys have to talk while I do look it up, okay?
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
But yeah, like, what do you think? What are your thoughts on Alexis? I don't remember hearing you saying much about her.
I don't have much thoughts of her. So, but I think she's there to like cause chaos with Shannon and like do damage control for Jansen, the Voldemort of the group.
Yeah, can we just call him like V or something? I
Yeah.
agree. The name is like giving me like weird, like heebie-jeebie.
Like an eye roll emoji comes up every time I say his
Immediate.
name. But I do not like Alexis. I think she's unhinged. I think she like, and don't she like, and I hate to bring religion into it, but she proclaimed to be a religious woman. Jesus jugs. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna need her to find something to leave Shannon alone.
Yeah, and we're like, okay, don't make me quote some Bible quotes on you because I
Yeah, cause,
will. Because girl,
cause
you're contradicting a lot of stuff. So I would just keep that tight lib because like that alone will make you look stupid.
yeah, I don't.
You know what
Yeah,
I
I don't.
mean?
Yeah, I don't really like how. And there's something icky about when a woman attacks another woman over a man, especially the time frame that they got together.
It's
And
just
it's just
very like the most. It was like, what in the 1980s is going on? You're just mad because I'm dating him now. It's like, what?
right. And mind you, Shannon looks great this season, so I would be intimidated as well.
She does.
She
And
looks
I think
great.
it's like it gives me faith in humanity that like they all assumed that it was going to be a Shannon takedown, which is very like sadistic, if you ask me, by the way. Like your friends going through stuff and they're like celebrating it and like excited. Like, you know what I mean? Yikes.
Yeah,
But like I think it's like a testament to like people are tired of the toxicity and like we're actually like having empathy for this woman in this moment because like we could all see she goes, I'm overwhelmed. And if anyone has ever felt that way, you know what that's like. You
yeah,
know what I mean? And
yeah.
have
I do.
someone keep coming for you, it's just like you're pure evil, man.
Yeah, and like I said, I really hope Shannon keeps thriving. I do, cause like when it comes to her, I have like a lot of. I feel like she never had like an easy season.
Mm-mm.
I think
And I
every
haven't always been a fan of her, to be
right,
honest.
like
She
she
can be
do
kind of
be
annoying.
OD. Yeah, she can. She can be a lot, but I do think like she like all in all she is like a good person. Like I do think like how she's handling the DUI situation with remorse, being accountable, all this other stuff is very like great. And I just think everybody just whacking her left and right. And that's why I say I had like a standing ovation when everybody finally like defended her at the table.
I love that. I know, like when Gina was like, can you stop? Like, we get it. And Tamra's face, she was like, wait, what do you mean? Like, this is what I do. You're supposed to all like egg me on and love it. And they're
The
like,
crazy,
no.
I was saying the funny thing, like I was on Twitter today, and it was like, can somebody please play when Dorinda made Tamara cry on Ultimate Girls Trip?
Wait, what?
Somebody on Twitter was like, this like it was like tired of Tamara, I'm guessing, and it was like, can somebody please show me the clip of when Dorinda made Tamara cry on Ultimate Girls Trip?
Oh my God. I forgot about that. You're right. We need Dorinda in there. Dorinda is the only one who can straighten her ass out.
Yeah,
Although Jen did a pretty good job.
and that's the thing with Jen. Jen like is I think with Jen, it's just like she's very authentic. Like everything about her
She
is
thought she could
authentic.
run over her for seasons because she's like very like feminine and doesn't like confrontation. But like Jen let her know, no, actually, I have time today, and enough's enough. And you're
Yeah,
gonna hear it, and you're actually gonna sit there and look stupid as I do it. Thanks.
because the way like Tamara treated Jen last season, and that's supposed to be her friend, was disgusting. So that's why I said I think everything. It's honestly tonight could have been the finale. Oh,
Who's ready?
yay!
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love you guys. This is how much I love you guys.
Love you too, Candy.
Okay, she
Mhm.
actually looks kind of good there,
Yeah.
I want to know I want to know what's the theme.
right?
This looks
Do
very
we
like
have a group pick
it's
yet or
a
no?
little cash. Not a group pick, but I'm gonna go through each person.
Okay.
Uh, I don't know what the theme is though, so we'll see. But I would say I think she looks really good, but I'm not sure if it's like a reunion look.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
little nightclubby.
It's giving me like season finale party look,
Mm-hmm.
but I
But
think
she
she
looks
looks good.
great.
But she looks good, and I
Yeah, I
like the
think.
dress. What do you guys
Yeah, I
think?
think she looks great as well. I would did a different shoe.
I would do a different shoe. I would
Mm,
do just like a strappy heel.
Yeah.
But
yeah, an open toe maybe.
I
Yeah.
need to talk about Gina. I think she's a pretty girl, but I don't know what she's doing with that nose contour.
Whoop. Not the
Like
nose.
it needs to be addressed.
I'm gonna just
Like
make up a thing. I think
I
it's
don't
getting a
know.
selling like a sunset vibe.
It does give us all yes.
You know why? Because
Exactly.
it's on the like a balcony.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's why it looks like when they have all their parties like on the balcony of a property.
Yeah. It's giving selling sunset.
Yeah.
So true. Because the sunset. Yeah. Come
Mhm.
on.
You guys ready
Okay.
for the next one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh. I love the
Again,
dress.
I love the dress. I think they're all pretty casual because I think I'm used to like ball gowns, but I love the dress.
I like the simplicity of them.
It's very
See.
demure. It's very mindful.
Yes.
I love it.
I like when people don't have like a lot of bells and whistles. I like a
Mhm.
good like simple classic, like a silky like long cocktail dress, like classic. You know what I mean?
I
Just
love
like a
it.
halter deep V silky. Yeah.
I love
And
Yeah.
that
it.
color looks good on her. It's like a burnt, deep orange. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
What do you think, Johnny?
yeah, I love this dress. And when I look at reunion outfits, I kind of try to picture it sitting down. And I'm looking at the hair with the dress. And I'm thinking it's gonna be really, our terms T. It's gonna be T. With her legs crossed, maybe. I like the whole outfit. I love her hair as well and her makeup.
Her hair does look nice.
Agree.
What do
Okay.
you think, Tam? You just agree? I mean, I just called you Tam. What the hell?
Me?
That was
No,
scary. I'm sorry.
I was like, can't.
I,
I like it. I think it's good. I think it's demure. I think it's mindful. I love the color.
it's cutesy. I'm just
It's
kidding.
cutesy. Yeah, I'm here for it. I think I like that her hair is simple, elegant, and I agree with what Johnny said. I think that it's gonna look really nice when she's sitting.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be the most of like the video footage, and I think it's also going to film very well. I think that color will look really pretty on camera because sometimes that happens too, where something looks really good in person, but it doesn't translate on camera, and I think that will look really pretty.
Mm-hmm. Agree. Okay.
Okay. Shannon.
Like, how many versions of this dress does Shannon own?
I agree. It feels very familiar. Like we've seen her in this a couple of times. But she just turned 60, so she can do whatever she wants.
I
I
cannot
know that's
believe
right.
she's 60.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So she can do
crazy.
whatever she wants.
She
If you
looks
find
great. Yeah.
work
Do
it
you
out.
wear 17 different versions of this dress? It looks good on you. You look good. Okay.
Yeah. That's
If
what I
you
always
love
say
it,
to
I
my
love
mom.
it.
That's what I said to my mom. I'm like, Mom, you can do whatever you want at this age. Like you just do like you want anything, just do it. Like
I
this.
say, yeah, I agree with y'all. You're probably I would prefer a different shoe.
I
Yeah.
know the
Yeah.
shoes.
Yeah,
See, I think
Yeah.
for this one, I think a closed toe heel would have been more
yeah.
Yeah.
Gina and
like a classic
they
white
should
pump.
switch shoes.
They should.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Agree.
But I love Shannon. I hope she doesn't forgive Tamra at the reunion. I feel like she does, but we have to remember that the reunion was filmed so long ago that I wonder what their relationship is like at the present moment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hope I hope Shannon doesn't get backlash for forgiving Tamra since everybody is like hate train for Tamra, which rightfully so. I'm on that train too. Choo choo.
Yeah, choo
We have
choo.
to remember that like it was filmed so long ago that they don't know everything that's happened now. Like it was filmed before the autism stuff, before you know what I mean?
I
Like
know. I
Yeah.
hate that because we can't like address that.
yeah, like they film. I feel like they shouldn't do that. They shouldn't film the reunion so soon after filming that they don't catch all of the actual social
Like
media.
no additional information as like
Right,
yeah.
like all the social media stuff that comes through each episode, like everything we find out, the sleuthing and all of that, because now we're going to watch a reunion and it's going to be all old news that nobody cares about. Anywho, Miss
You know
Ooh.
what?
Katie.
I really feel like Shannon would look good in like a floral. Okay,
Mm,
Katie.
okay,
This
Katie.
is
I'm
nice. I
not
like
mad
this
at it.
I
red.
like Katie's shoe with this.
I do too.
Me too.
I like the hair as well.
I think she's posing weird and it's making it look a little. I wish she wasn't like leaning against the. You know what I mean? It seems like I wish like we were getting more like a.
Is
I
there
think
like
this one might
ruffles
be a
on the
little
dress?
too photoshopped because it looks like they do like the shadow doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it might be a Photoshop fail because
I might,
if that was real, then the shadow should have gone over the balcony handle.
and
True.
correct me if I'm wrong. Is that like a sequence? I can't see.
It's not sequins, it's like a sheer.
Sheer. Okay.
It's sheer, yeah. And then it's like ruched in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say I love the hair. I wish it was a higher pony, but I love
Agreed.
the hair.
I agree with that kind of dress and the high neck. You need to put your hair back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And to show off the earrings, yeah, I really wish like she has beautiful hair, but I really wish it was like a more and she has such gorgeous skin. Like pull your hair back, girl.
And also to show the body, yaddy yaddy. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like with that type of dress, the body is the outfit. You know?
Exactly. You're giving sheer, so give us
that
some
body,
sheer.
like that body
Don't
is
put a
long.
cape of hair over it.
Yeah, show that body, yaddy yaddy. But I do love the dress. I think it's giving.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree about the hair.
I do like the shoes. I love that little bow.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Yeah, I can't even see. Oh yeah, I see it. That is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. I love this. This is my favorite part.
Yeah, it's fun, right?
Okay.
Gina everywhere. Gina everywhere. Y'all go first with this one.
Gina doesn't know how to dress for her body.
I mean,
Like,
not
I
Gina,
stand by what I say.
Emily. See,
I mean,
how
Emma,
you know
sorry.
me? I don't even know her
Why?
name.
Like, you had me, Emily. Sorry, Em.
Emily. My
Like
fault.
Gina. Like, I'm God. I did it again. Emily, girl, you need a stylist. Like your body is great, but you're not dressing for it, and it's like making you look not your best, and we want you to because you're gorgeous, and it's pissing us off.
That neckline is hard for
Horrible
anybody
for most.
to pull
Like,
off.
usually only like petite women, like shoulder wise, and she
You
has
have
like an athletic tall frame.
If that type of that neckline, you have to have like Pilates arms. Like you have to have very thin,
Very crisp
frail
shoulders, right? And
like a Gwyneth Paltrow, Kate Moss in her heyday type arm to carry off.
Yes, definitely thin, chiseled arm.
Very thin if you're gonna do that.
Like borderline frail.
Yeah.
And we're not even saying that's a better body type.
No.
Because we're just saying that would be dressing for that particular type of body. Like your body is great, but this isn't for that body. And it doesn't make your body any less. I just wish you would understand that. And it's so hard to watch.
Yeah. What do you think, Johnny?
I like the makeup. And I like the shoe. I don't really like the dress. I wish
The neckline is making me full on like angry almost.
Yeah. I wish she shows a different dress, and if she was gonna wear that dress, a different hairstyle. I just know one has to go. If she's gonna have that hairstyle, have a different dress, and if she's gonna have that
again, the
dress,
high neckline usually doesn't look great with your hair down.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm just like, who is styling these people? Nobody.
Like like the dress.
The local neighborhood, like Sally at the store. Like, what's going on?
If anything, I think this could work if she changed the hair.
To me, it's the neckline. Like she just needs to
it's the neckline.
Because even if she had done like a tube with like the gold, that would look really beautiful, and she could keep the hair long if it was like a tube. And I think
or just spaghetti strap.
I'm gonna say, have Emily ever worn straight hair?
Would be great. Straight hair?
Yeah,
she would be pretty. She would be pretty with straight hair. I don't think so.
Honestly, like she may have been able to pull this off if she had like an 80s French twist and kind of went dynasty with it.
Oh yeah. I can see that.
But like, I don't know. It's like, girl, you're pissing me off. You're wasting your beauty on this. Yes.
I think if the top would have been a tube, I think it would look so sexy. It'd be like Cleopatra.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. If it was like a you know that material that like almost looks like a knitted. Okay. But it's like kind of like a little like that kind of material that like it kind of hangs on your body. It hugs you, but like it also hangs. And like a tube version of that in gold, that would have been gorgeous. Because she's tan and her brunette hair. Oh yeah. Emily.
Are you wearing love you, girl. You always have something scratching.
I think it's like just my headphones, and like I get really animated when I talk, like my head moves around. Sorry.
Oh my goodness, Adam.
Adam, I literally just asked about you. I was like, where's Adam?
Where are you been? Were you back there for a while?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Next time do a private chat. I couldn't.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were wrapping up early. Like I didn't.
No, I didn't see you. Next time, ping me somehow. Either like comment in the comment chat or the private chat,
Just be like, I'm back here.
literally just saw you. I'm so sorry, baby.
No
I've
worries.
been worried, sick with worry.
Yes, I'm sure. I've been missing all you. Don't worry.
We miss you.
No, I literally go, where's Adam? You can rewind.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, sound off.
What do you think of Emily, Adam?
Yeah, what do you think of the dress?
the
Uh-huh.
I'm not really sure. I mean,
So we're saying the neckline. We're saying the neckline is wrong for her body type.
I mean, like, personally, like, I don't really like her in general, but yeah, mediocre.
Yeah,
Okay.
like I said, I think if she had a straight hair. I never seen her in straight hair. I think that probably would have helped it a little bit, but
A
I don't
straight
know.
hair would have worked too, because like you need very minimum with a high neck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I wasn't really wowed by any of the looks. I just had a skim now, but I mean, next week's the finale. Thank goodness. It needs the days of the Tamra need to be over.
For sure.
I heard the part
Mhm.
that Candy was saying about how the reunions they film it too early. I mean, that is really true. I mean, with most of these shows that actually, when they film the reunions, I think they do it 4 to 6 weeks in advance before it airs, and it's just like there's so much stuff that happens in like the last few weeks. Sometimes I would kind of feel like it kind of like is so old news. And
the timing, I've articulated like I'm frustrated with the timing of how they release like American reality shows, especially. Like it just takes too long. And it's like, so when we're watching something essentially a year old.
I mean,
Yeah.
That's weird.
I mean, with British shows, we do the
You guys pump it out faster.
like with the filming, it's pretty with a lot of reunions they do them live now. Like for example, like with Love Island, like not the lame version that had Ariana on it, but the British version.
Okay, that's interesting.
They did after the winner was announced stuff. They did a reunion as just like a live stream on Instagram, and if you don't live in the UK, that's how you can watch it. And it's pretty cool because people are typing and it's kind of like live literal questions about what people said yesterday and like, oh, you said this a week ago, not just something that happened 5 months ago. Because it may have came on our screens 3 or 4 weeks ago, but the film literally happened about 5 months ago. And in retrospect, and it's kind of like actually like talking about live encounters that happened just in the last 24, 48 hours. That's the realist point of view. I mean,
I know it's just it makes things awkward because like it makes things less authentic too. Because it's like
100%.
imagine like a year from now how you would feel about something. That's so long.
I kind of think that with this season especially, kind of there's only been a few key players. You know, Shannon, like, to me, I just wish Heather woke up and saw the light and ditched Tamra for Shannon. I mean, they literally, Heather was the one who got Shannon on the show. And then things just circled left when Shannon got involved with this Tamrat, and I miss Vicky. I think ever since Vicky left the show, it was just Orange County's just been a bit stale for me. It's better than the fake New York, but I kind of don't have that Rivelin kind of okay. The ambience is lively here. It's just kind of, and also with Orange County, when you listen to people like the Tamrat, the drama's not even entertaining. It's actually just kind of disturbing.
I know. That's what I said. It's unsettling to watch.
Okay.
Okay, we're ready for the next look?
Yes.
Heather.
Sure.
Like,
Heather.
again, it feels like we've seen this on Heather before. It's giving dated.
What do you think of the color?
You know what? I actually like this color, this like burgundy, which is like the color of the season. This is my favorite color currently, like for this season. Not my favorite color always, but the color. I actually really like the color. I like that it's like a chocolate brown. But I feel like we've seen her in this silhouette before. We've seen her like this. I would like to see Heather break free, like just do something completely unexpected. Like the dress is so tightly wound. It's like her personality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would love to see her doing something flowy and free and fun, kind of more cutesy. Like I would love a little bit more youthful as well. And also she could do with the hair refresh. Like we've seen this hair.
The hair, like
time.
honestly, I feel like she would look cute in like a bob.
Not necessarily. Oof. I don't know about bob because she has very sharp.
She did a bob at another reunion.
I think she would look good if she got some highlights. I think it would do her well.
Yeah, her hair is a little too dark.
Her hair is too dark all the time. I think
when you age, it's hard to pull off really dark hair.
I think I think if she got some like good, even like a low light, but just something.
I think a reddish brown would be cute, nice. Like a warmer brown.
Yes.
Yeah.
Less cold. It's a cold, dark brown right now. I think like a warmer, lighter brown would look really good.
Yeah.
It would brighten her up. It would make her look tanner.
Mm-hmm.
I just really feel like, yeah.
I was gonna say I like the dress. It does feel familiar. I think if she's gonna do something familiar, make it new. And I'm just thinking like, if she had like the same color gloves, maybe, I don't know. But I don't know if that would make it too much since it's already simple.
No, I think that would make it too much personally if it had like gloves. I mean,
but it's Heather. You know, I think she wore the dress like not last season, but like the seasons before with a different color.
Do you like the shoes?
At every single dinner.
I do like the shoes.
I do like the shoes too.
Mm-hmm.
I like the earrings as well.
I mean, would you wear this dress if you had the option?
I don't know. The off the shoulder is like hanging weird. It's like pulling at the armpit a little bit. And it's bothering me. I don't know what, maybe it's like the position she's standing. Like, you know what I mean? It's like getting wide in that area because it's like pulling around like the upper arm. But yeah, like I feel like we only see her in very dark colors, like or like some kind of like matchy outfit. Like I don't know. Like I would like to see. I don't know. Like like maybe like a floral.
Is, though, in some ways.
I love a good floral.
She's just kind of very. She always likes to dress very conservative, like, and just like kind of. And I think kind of, even though she would never be able to be at her stature, she kind of likes that Lisa Vanderpump style look, like kind of just very conservative, not kind of full of
like a little vamp if she needs to, slight but like not like
just not like going to.
There's still that scratchy noise.
Me?
It's like does anybody else hear it? Is it just me?
Do you hear it from me now?
Not right now.
No.
Okay, I guess I have to hold this little micro thing.
I think it's like
I'm using like old school because like I can't be having wireless because I'll be losing that.
Okay.
I'll hold it. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Like I personally don't care, but I know like the viewers.
People get
Yeah.
No, I hear you.
Like, I mean, I could only faintly hear it if I'm going to be perfectly honest, but it didn't bother me. But never mind.
Thanks, Adam.
I know. I love Adam.
Okay.
God bless him.
But
Oh,
with
you said, would I wear this dress? I
yeah,
wouldn't, only because I have curves. Like I have like a nice butt.
yeah,
So like I
Okay,
wouldn't,
girl.
of
I do.
course.
I do. I really like. I know you guys don't
She's
ever.
like, I know my strengths, and
No,
that's
I
one
do.
of them.
I have a good butt. I've been blessed, and it's all real. So I wouldn't
Well,
wear it
obviously.
because it would look too overtly sexy. Just the way that this dress is made, it doesn't on
Yeah.
Heather because her body type is so like pencil. But like I have like a good butt, so it would give different. It would give a
It would give a
different.
lot more.
Yeah, it would be like more overtly sexy just because I have built-in curves. So I wouldn't wear it because again, like we're talking about dressing for your body type. That's not the look I would go for. I like
Yeah.
subtly sexy. Like a little bit of like
So do I.
a off shoulder, but not like overtly, like very like flirty, coquettish, but not like skin
Like
tight.
I like showing like one thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm trying
Hey,
to figure
Sean,
out.
we're good. Mm.
I'm trying to figure out what am I seeing on this leg? Is that I'm not understanding.
It's not good. It's like sheer, but it's like the what do you call it? Like the slip dress is like
Yeah.
solid. So it's only sheer at like the bottom and like the arms. For me, it's a miss for Heather.
No, I don't like
I
that
don't
one.
really like it that much.
Yeah,
I know
it's a
we were
miss.
saying that, but like the arms are bothering me where it's stretching weird. The bottom looks like it's like almost not supposed to be there. It's not like cohesive. Yeah. She doesn't
agree.
look like terrible, but it's like not my favorite.
It's like whatever, you know.
Exactly.
I mean, so if someone gifted it to you, but fair play, but
I
you
probably wouldn't
buy
wear it.
You wouldn't buy it if you like.
I wouldn't be like, good God, in the trash can. It probably would just like stay in my closet until I gave it away.
Yeah, I would say re-gift it.
If someone gave it to me, I would wear it, but not at this occasion. Because there are certain events where I do want to be sexy, but I wouldn't want to be overtly sexy at a reunion if I was a housewife. So for me, it would be occasion specific. So like, I don't know if we're having like if like say like me and my friends are like having like a private party and it's like fun or we're dressing up or something like that, then it's more of like a sexier vibe. Then like, yeah, I would wear it because that's like the look I'm going for. But I don't think I would wear it publicly super sexy or definitely not on that show. So I would wear it because I actually think it's like cute. I don't think it lands on Heather, but I would wear it and I think it would land on me.
I know that's right.
So are you saying like it's overall like a 7 out of 10? Because like obviously with obviously
Love it.
obviously with the curves and everything, like I mean, fair play. I mean, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong.
I have an apple bottom.
Well, obviously,
apple bottom jeans. Okay, sorry.
Damn, that Flo Rida song back in the day.
I'm surprised you got that reference, Adam.
Hello, I'm from like,
everybody knows that song.
I'm
I
from
know, but he was like literally 5 when that came out.
Natasha, I'm from like the 1880s.
I know you sound like if we didn't know any better, and he was like, "I'm a time traveler," we'd be like, "Okay."
Oh my God.
All right, Tamra.
Oh.
Now she's going to the club. Everybody, fam,
the club.
Okay, can I start?
Is she at like a fake nightclub or something? Like
the club.
I do like the shoes. I can't lie. I do like.
I do too.
But the rest of it, I'm confused.
The overlap of the top and the bottom is like messing with me.
What is that strap? The strap looks weird. I need to like understand like what's going on because it looks like it's like a strap, not so much a tie. Because at first I thought it was a tie, but then I'm like, it looks like there's like belt loops in it. So I'm like, what?
I must say I do think she did I do think she picked the right hair for this type of dress though.
I think her hair does not look good.
I don't think it looks good, but I think it looks I don't think nothing else would have went with
it. Looks like she's like almost like balding and like I don't know. It just doesn't make her hair look full or I don't know. It's a weird angle maybe. I don't know. And I don't agree with a pearl necklace with this number. I don't know.
Maybe that's a subliminal.
I do like the shoes as well. I do like the shoes.
I do like the shoes too.
I like the shoes too.
I think the shoes are a good choice.
I like the color because again, it's like the color of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good
Oh.
gem tone, and I'm a big fan of those.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous color, but the cut is off. The style is off. I'm confused with like, why is she wearing like to me the top looks like what I would wear at the gym.
Mhm.
It looks like a workout top.
It does. It looks like one of those like yoga kind of like workout tops.
Yeah, like that's what I would wear like working out or going for a jog with like my yoga yoga pants. So the top to me is giving like maybe it's old Cut Fitness merchandise. I don't know.
Not even Cut Fitness merchandise. Oh my god. Oh.
Exactly. So
I mean, to me, like
old Cut Fitness.
It's kind of giving that she bought the top and the bottom separately, but just
separate,
and then put them together. Yeah, it's not doing what she thinks it's doing.
I mean, to me, not even trying to be shady here, but it kind of gives off like I went to a nightclub Tinder profile type of picture. Like to me, it's just it. I would say the shoes. I mean, fair play, but the outfit. I mean, even this. I mean, when Natasha mentioned the strap, like I was like, wait, what? Like literally, like.
And then you did a zoom in. It's a belt.
Yeah,
you can see it. That's weird.
I mean, like Loki, like it just seems a bit of a mix match. It kind of was like, you know what? Let me do like a fashion science experiment and just put some random things together. Like, I mean, other than I mean, also the necklace is nice, but I don't know if that is a match. Like, it looks a bit strange. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a miss. Next.
We'll pray for her.
Alexis Bellino, like, what in the world? What in the world? Like Forever 21 called. They want their dress back.
Right. Deb called. They want their dress back. It's like
what is going on? This is a whole, and she doesn't even match the theme. Like, she's wearing rhinestones. Like, what is happening? Yeah, this
is. Yes. Did y'all know what rainbow is?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen rainbow.
She let you get this from Rainbow.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to see what I like, but I don't like anything.
I don't mind the shoes.
Yeah, the shoes are okay.
Is there even like silver on the dress though?
Maybe with the rhinestones?
Yeah, it's just like the rhinestones look very cheap.
I hate the ring with the
I don't like the top either.
The chain into the bracelet. Like, what? Why do you have a chain from your ring to your bracelet?
Look at what you're wearing. You have so much going on in your dress as far as texture. Like, why are you doing that too? It's like less is more. And the top looks really cheap. I don't like it. Like, it'd be one thing if that was like a thin strap around your neck, but like the structure of it just looks really weird. And
her hair is giving 80s prom.
Her and Tamra look like they went to the same place. And
they got but like Tamra just has, but she just has more hair, so it looks a little better than Tamra's.
It's like we're gonna go.
Like her hair is thicker, so it's like she pulls it off a little better. But this is literally 1990 and not a good way.
I just went on Instagram and supposedly this is meant to be couture.
I mean, I guess they call anything couture these days.
I mean, that's a Tamu dress for sure. She got on Alibaba.
they be calling anything couture nowadays. I don't know.
Yeah, I get confused with because obviously in Beverly Hills we would hear Sasha mention the couture nonstop, but
I mean, couture used to be like one of a kind, like a real designer, like art piece. This is, I would hardly call anything that I'm seeing any of that fit that description, but I mean, go ahead, designer.
I think I would think this dress would probably fit somebody with a curvier body type as well. But
She's very boxy. Yeah, it's
yeah,
not.
it just I don't know.
And I'm not saying it in a bad way. I think she has a great figure. It's just like everyone has different figures, and you need to dress for your body type. I can't express it enough.
Not the candle holder.
I love it.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't like it
wait,
at
so
all.
so far, what dress has been the better one?
Her makeup looks good.
I like Jen's dress a lot.
I think this one is the winner for me because it's also giving like quiet luxury, which is also like shouldn't be a trend. It's more like a lifestyle, but I like hers the best. I think Jen's the winner for me. What about you
And I
guys?
love her hair.
Mm-hmm.
It's just simple and classic,
Yeah.
and I like it, and it
Yeah.
works for her frame.
I like Gina's, but I think if she was going to a different event, I think I would like it better.
It's a little too New Year's
It's like a
Eve
little
for
too
me.
like your coochie's out. Like it's a little too coochie out.
Like one
For a
wrong
reunion.
move, and you're giving labia, and that's not
Yeah.
like cute for
When
reunion.
your cooch is all like put your cooch back.
Yeah,
So
and I
yeah.
said I would have did a different shoe too with that
Yeah,
dress.
different shoe for sure. Definitely open toed. Put your cooch away.
The more I look at the closed toed with that dress, like I feel anger.
Yeah, she definitely should be
Like
open.
who decided that?
Yeah, definitely open toed. And I mean, let the cooch hang if it's the right event. Like if
Yeah.
she's going to like a private party with like her friends and having like a fun night, like whatever, like
Fair play.
Yeah, not like like when she sits down,
not
are we
a
just
reunion.
seeing, is it like a gyno appointment?
Can
Like
you
what's
like a prayer
happening?
cloth? A prayer cloth?
But you know what I mean? She's going to need to have something on her lap because it's going to be like a gyno visit. Like think about when she sits down. If it's like that standing up, imagine sitting down.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna be woo. So
Like, does
but
she have like
she
sequin
does look
biker
really-
shorts or something?
She looks good though. Like she like the body's banging, her hair.
Her makeup looks half decent. Her hair looks
Yeah, I gotta
decent. Yeah.
say, for Gina, it's good. Just the cooch
Yeah.
is out.
Just the cooch and the shoes.
Yeah, but I say
What-
I say Jenn is the winner. She looks classic. She looks demure. Very
What do you
nice.
think of Shannon's?
Oh, Shannon.
Shannon looks like
the
we just
matriarch.
see like 14 other reunion looks that
Yeah,
we've seen before.
she always wears this.
She loves a
don't-
good white, like kind of
Don't like
textured.
the shoe.
The
I would
shoe
love
should have been
nude-
closed toe.
I would love a nude pump with this. I think that would be
Yep.
like a very nice elevated nude pump.
Classic, yeah. Tone.
Speaking of, I just bought some nude pumps and they have not arrived. I gotta sorry.
I can't wear pumps. I like I wore one once to an engagement party and I thought I was gonna die. Like I think it's because I walk very heavy. Like I'm like a buffalo when I walk around. I'm like, well, and I just like, so I need a good like clunker heel so I can really like stomp around and like feel like my norm self. Like it could be a heel, but I just need like a thick one where I can feel like if like I need to like run around or high kick or do something, like I can. Like with a kitten heel, I feel like I'm like going to topple over or get it stuck in something. I just get nervous. Or it's gonna break.
I'm gonna say, would y'all do like the same color shoe for that, but a pump or a different color?
No,
I agree. Like
I would do a nude.
to be honest, I wouldn't mind a white, but I think a nude would be better.
I think a nude would just be like a little bit like sleeker. Like white on that would give a little too matchy.
I know that's been on trend lately, but like I'm not a huge fan of it either. Yeah, I think you're right with a nude.
Agree.
I just really don't like this dress. I wish.
Yeah.
I think she would have looked great with like maybe like because they're doing gem tones, maybe like a gem toned like floor. I think she would look really great in florals. I know I keep bringing up florals, but I love them, and I just feel like she likes to be feminine. Like this is a feminine kind of number, and I think she would look good with like a little like texture and like maybe like something flowy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like give her like this light look. because this is very like kind of like controlled and like restrictive and structured, I guess. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. This is more structured, maybe something less structured and not white and silver anymore. Like I need something new. Give us some color. Give us maybe like a like what would be, because you have to like, what do you have to do? Like the colors, like you have to do like a burnt sienna. Like that's like giving my like Crayola days. No, the 100 pack. I always remember burnt sienna for some reason. Um, but like you know what I mean. Like I'm looking at her coloring. She would look better with a like a reddish orange, maybe too,
Yeah, I can see it.
or like, and then I don't know, but like maybe like I don't know. I just, yeah, I'm disappointed because I want her to look good. I'm rooting for her. But she's probably just like, listen, I'm exhausted. I'm just going to do one that's like an oldie but a goodie.
I want her to do something that's more youthful.
Yeah. This is
Yeah.
very like
Something that's
governor's wife.
I want something like, I actually think flowy would look
Mhm.
really good on her. Something very flowy, and I want her
That's what I
hair.
mean, less textured.
And I want her hair. I think Shannon would look so beautiful with like beach waves. Something very loose, not so much product, like a loose bleach wave, and like her hair not so yellow, like a little bit more of like a whiter blonde beach
Cooler
wave,
toned.
really pretty, with like a more of a flowy dress. I think would just be like so superb because like, you know, she just turned like 60, 61 with like the beachy vibe, but the flowy matched with like the vibe of being like, I am a full grown ass woman.
I
That
almost want to look for a dress for her right
would be
now.
like so beautiful. Yeah. I don't know. But you guys, it's Friday and I'm tired. I love you.
Yeah, same. I've reached the end of my battery life.
Oh, me
All right,
too.
love y'all. Bye.
Love you
Yeah.
guys. Bye.
Much love.
Love you. It was fun.
Mwah. Shout out to my beautiful panel. I love you guys. Thank you so much, Tion. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Adam. I think that was everybody who called in. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Shout out to Miss T. Happy birthday. Thank you so much for holding me down. I love you. Shout out to everybody in the comments. Hey, Pink Sass, Holly Tanner, Cherokee Cindy Reed, Artist Fleetwood, Barbara Romeo, Give Me Shelter. Coffee is brewing. What is up, Blockchain? Hey everybody, if I missed you, Chels love, how are you? If I missed you, I'm sorry. Happy Friday. Tay, what is up? Happy Friday, everybody. I love you, love you, love you. Be safe, enjoy your weekend, and we will be back next week. So like, subscribe, and share, and comment down below. I love you guys. Mwah. Bye.